Chapter 2369. When Wu Zhenju heard this, he was so angry that he almost started a fight with Guocaixia. Liang Xinyue's broken engagement was a pain in her heart, but Guocaixia liked to expose her scars and poke at her shortcomings. How could she not be angry? Sister-in-law, you're too mean. Can't you bear to see you get married? You hope that she can't marry into a good family. You're Yu's aunt. Wu Zhenju slammed the table and pointed at Guocaixia as he scolded. Guocaixia sneered and curled her lips. She replied, "Second sister-in-law, look at what you're saying." "What do you mean I hope not?" "I'm just telling you the truth. Look at your reaction. Aren't you also Z's aunt? Every day, when you talk about how my Z can't do this or that, can't I say a few words about your You?" Seeing that Wu Zhenju and Guocaixia were about to fight, old Madame Liang was very angry. "All you know is to quarrel. Both of you, shut up. Today is Yun's wedding day. If you want to embarrass yourself, go back home. Don't drag your eldest sister's family down with you." Old Madame Liang's face was gloomy. It was obvious that she was really angry. Wu Zhenju and Guocaixia finally restrained themselves and stopped making a fuss. Compared to Wu Zhenju's anger, Guocaixia was much calmer. She felt a lot better after teasing her. Who asked this second sister-in-law of hers not to have a little self-awareness? How could she not know what kind of person her daughter was? She was actually so confident that Liang Xinyue could find a good husband. In her opinion, if Liang Xinyue could find her it would be even more so. Liang Xinyue lowered her head and continued to eat, but she didn't feel as good as before. Her mother had overestimated her, while her aunt had underestimated her. Either way, it wasn't good. Actually, she didn't want to marry a rich man, as long as it wasn't one of those country bumpkins. It was one thing for them to be poor, but the most important thing was that they were ugly. As long as they were half as handsome and half as mighty as Mo Yen, she would probably be willing. She really couldn't compare. After comparing, she despised everyone. Even if she didn't want to marry, she wouldn't casually marry a country bumpkin. The originally lively banquet became a little dull under the Liang family's strange occasion. Zhao Yun'er's family didn't care about the feelings of the family Qin people and continued to host the banquet. Under the cooking of the chef, the banquet was completed successfully. After that, the people in the village gathered together for a while and then left. At this moment, Yi Li, who was sitting on the tree, had already finished the entire pot of wine. There was no more wine in the cup, so Yi Li could only put down the wine pot. Seeing that Anil remained silent under the tree and didn't say a word, Yi Li raised his eyebrows and said in a low voice, "It's already so late, why aren't you going back? Aren't you hungry if you don't eat?" When Anil saw that Yi Li actually took the initiative to talk to her, and even seemed to care about her, she was instantly excited. She immediately said to Yi Li, "Are you concerned about me?" Yi Li's lips curved into a cold smile, "You're overthinking it. Why should I care about you? I just don't understand why you're doing all these useless and meaningless things in front of me." Chapter 2370. Yi Li lowered his head and glanced at Anil. There was a glimmer of light in his dark pupils, shining like stars. It was strangely attractive. Looking at his fair face, it revealed a touch of innocence, especially when he pouted and puffed up his cheeks. Yi Li thought to himself that he must be crazy. How could he think that a sissy was so pure and cute? Could it be that he had gone mad? Yi Li choked, but the corners of his mouth continued to curl up. He calmly replied, "You can follow me if you want, but I have to go now." With that, Yi Li tapped his toes and jumped down from the tree. His qigong was very good, so when he jumped down from the tree, it felt like he was floating. Looking at Yi Li's tall and handsome back, Anil was once again mesmerized by Yi Li. Why was this man so handsome when he was depressed? How could there be such a stunner in this world? However, his infatuation only lasted for a few seconds. Anil quickly regained his senses and got up from the ground to follow Yi Li. "Yi Li, where are you going? Aren't you going to keep watching over me?" "I'm watching over you, not the tree. I'll go wherever you go. Anil replied angrily. Yili frowned slightly and said unhappily, don't follow me. He wanted to find a quiet place to be alone. What was a sissy following behind him? Anil pursed his lips and said unhappily, why? You're annoying. I don't like people annoying me. Yili said mercilessly. Anil's heart felt like it had been pierced by something. It hurt so much. He tried to take a deep breath and braced himself to say, I just want to follow you. I didn't say anything. What right do you have to say that I'm annoying? Yili looked at Anil's angry face and didn't know what to say for a moment. This sissy is so wishy-washy. Sigh. Annoying. But for some reason, Yili didn't find Anil as annoying as before. He must be crazy. Don't waste your time on me. Yili reminded. A straight man like him would definitely not like a man. If a woman persevered, it would still be meaningful. But a man. Could it be that she was hoping to turn him gay? What a fool's dream. I'm spending my time, not yours. It's none of your business. Anil said stubbornly. Once he set his mind on something, he would not give up easily. This was even more true for the person he liked. It wasn't easy for him to meet Yili, so how could he let go of this opportunity? Yili turned around and ignored Anil. Instead, he walked forward. Anil hurried to catch up with him. He stared at Yili's back and swore to himself that he would wait until the moment Yili accepted him. Although this dream was a little far away, only by persevering would there be a chance and possibility. If he chose to give up now, then there would be no more chances in the future. He didn't ask for anything else. He just wanted to be by Yili's side. As long as he could see Yili, that would be enough. Sigh. And Le didn't know when he started to know how to be satisfied. He had many things in the past, but he had never cherished them as much as he did now. By the time Yili returned to Zhao Yun'er's courtyard, the banquet had already ended and the courtyard was much quieter. Chapter 2371. Yili smiled and replied, Uncle Zhao, I just went out for a walk. I didn't go anywhere. Zhao Wenhua hurriedly said, Young Master Yi, you haven't eaten anything yet. You must be hungry, right? Quickly sit down and eat something. Okay. Seeing Zhao Wenhua's concern for him, Yili's heart warmed. This kind of feeling was like family. During the time he stayed at Zhao Yun'er's house, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao had already treated him as family. There were many dishes left at the banquet that were not eaten, including some unsavory meat. Zhao Wenhua asked Yili what he wanted to eat. Yili smiled and replied that Zhao Wenhua could make anything as long as it could fill his stomach. Yili was not a picky eater. Zhao Wenhua made a bowl of chicken soup with some chicken in it. He handed it to Yili and said, Young Master Yi, have some chicken soup and eat some chicken. I'll make some dishes for you. Thank you, Uncle Zhao. You're welcome. We're family. Don't be so distant. Zhao Wenhua smiled and waved his hand. He went into the kitchen and took out a bowl. He took some of every dish. This way, Yili could have a taste. Fortunately, the weather had cooled down. Even if these dishes could not be finished, it would not be a problem to leave them out for a day or two. Anil stood not far away and observed Yili's attitude and reaction. As a result, he found that Yili seemed to be polite and nice to everyone, but she was cold to him. Anil thought about it carefully and felt that he did not do anything wrong. What did he do that made Yili dislike him so much? Zhao Wenhua had just brought out a bowl of food when Hu Chunhua walked over to Zhao Wenhua and ordered, Third brother, there should be some leftovers from the banquet at your house. There should be a lot of food left, right? Hurry up and get me some. Your little sister wants to eat it. Her body is weak. You have to get her something good to nourish her body. Today was the third branch's wedding. Everyone in old Zhao's family came to attend the wedding, except for Zhao Xinhui. It wasn't that Zhao Xinhui didn't want to join in the fun and eat good food, but he had no choice. Now, Zhao Xinhui couldn't even move from his bed, let alone get out of bed to attend the banquet. Hu Chunhua did not ask for anything else. After all, she was already very happy that Zhao Xinhui could keep his life. As long as he was alive, he could slowly prepare for the future. Zhao Xinhui could slowly recuperate, and there would be a time when he would recover. Zhao Wenhua nodded and replied, "Okay, Mom, I'll go now." "Father, don't give it to her." Zhao Ping walked out angrily and stopped Zhao Wenhua. It was fine if he gave it to others, but he wasn't willing to give it to his little aunt. It was because Zhao Xinhui caused her older brother Yuan to be in this state. How could he give Zhao Xinhui good food? "You wretched lass, what are you saying?" Hu Chunhua was also angry. She glared at Zhao Ping and retorted. "I said I'm not giving it to my little aunt." "Grandmother, why should we give you our third branch's food? Do you think you can have it just because you want it?" Zhao Ping wasn't afraid of Hu Chunhua and directly retorted. Hu Chunhua rolled up her sleeves and walked in front of Zhao Ping, wanting to hit Zhao Ping. This wretched lass was too much. Her daughter's injuries were so serious that she almost lost her life, and it had a lot to do with this wretched lass. Back then, if she didn't slander Zhao Xinhui in front of the county magistrate, Zhao Xinhui might not have said that she would be punished so severely, and she wouldn't have almost lost her life. Chapter 2372. You wretched lass, you're such a busybody. Since when did a married daughter like you have the right to make decisions in the third branch? Your youngest aunt is your father's younger sister, so why can't you give her some food? You've already become someone else's daughter-in-law, yet you still want to interfere with family matters. As Hu Chunhua spoke, she stretched out her jet-black claws and almost scratched Zhao Ping's face. Zhao Wenhua hurriedly stepped forward and stood between Zhao Ping and Hu Chunhua. He mediated, all right, mother. Don't bicker with that lass Ping. I'll go get some food for my younger sister." "Father." Zhao Pinger's face was filled with unhappiness as she pulled on Zhao Yunlong's sleeve. Zhao Wenhua gave Zhao Ping a look. "Lass, behave yourself. She's your grandmother. No matter what, she's still your youngest aunt. Don't be willful." "Father," Hu Chunhua pursed her lips. "Third son, it's not that I want to nag at you, but you have to discipline your daughter properly. Otherwise, she'll take advantage of you and not know the rules at all." "Mother, I understand. I'll educate that lass Ping more in the future." "It's good that you understand." Zhao Ping still wanted to say something, but Zhao Wenhua was really a little angry at this time. He gave Zhao Ping another look. Only then did she reluctantly stop. Zhao Wenhua sighed heavily. Clearly, today was very lively and happy, but some people and things just had to come out and ruin their mood. Zhao Wenhua only hoped that everything would go smoothly on Zhao Yun's side. It didn't matter if he caused more trouble on his side. At this time, the wedding procession had already arrived at Yang City. Because everyone was walking, their movements were a little slow. It wasn't as fast as Zhao Yun's usual horse carriage or donkey cart. At this time, the Crown Prince's residence was decorated with red silk and satin, and it was indescribably lively. Because it was the Crown Prince's wedding, almost all the influential people in Sun City attended the banquet. This included many squires and the deputy district magistrate. When the guests who came to attend the wedding saw the procession, they immediately became excited. "The bride is here! The bride is here!" When Zhao Yun heard this figure, she knew that they had arrived at the Shitzi estate. She couldn't help but feel excited. The procession finally stopped at the entrance of the Shitzi Fu. Mu Lianfeng dismounted from his horse first, and then the matchmaker helped Zhao Yun over the brazier. Finally, they were led into the bridal chamber that the Shitzi Fu had prepared for them. After arriving at the room, Zhao Yun was left hanging while Mu Lianfeng went out to socialize. Later on, the heir apparent's residence also had to prepare a banquet. As the bridegroom, Mu Lianfeng naturally had to accompany them to drink. It was only noon, and they had to wait until night time. Zhao Yuner felt very bored when she thought that there was still so much time left. Fortunately, the wedding was only for one day. Although she didn't have to do anything, she strangely felt very tired. Fortunately, before getting married, Zhao Yuner ate a lot based on her experience. Now, she even secretly stuffed a few pieces of pastries into her sleeves. Even if she waited until night time, she wouldn't be very hungry. However, it didn't feel good to be alone in the room and wait for half a day. The room was quiet, but Zhao Yuner could feel the festive atmosphere in the Shitzi estate. Because it was a rare occasion for the crown prince to get married, even the servants in the crown prince's residence were especially excited. They were busy and didn't stop for a moment. Chapter 2373. Zhao Yuner quickly sat up and tidied up her clothes. The red veil on her head was still intact and did not fall off. As soon as Mu Lianfeng walked into the bridal chamber, the air was immediately filled with the smell of alcohol. Although Mu Lianfeng had lost a lot of alcohol today, his mind was still clear. He saw Zhao Yuner sitting in front of the bed and walked toward Zhao Yuner. Yuner. Mu Lianfeng murmured. His Yun had finally become his wife today. At this moment, he experienced a happiness that he had never felt before. Zhao Yuner responded. Mu Lianfeng walked toward the bed and lifted Zhao Yuner's red veil. The two of them were not really newlyweds. Unlike other people in this era, they lived together every day before they got married and were very familiar with each other. After lifting the red veil, Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng's eyes met. Zhao Yuner was dressed in a red wedding dress and dressed up meticulously. In Mu Lianfeng's eyes, Zhao Yuner looked indescribably delicate and charming today. Mu Lianfeng was already handsome to begin with. Coupled with the fact that he was getting married today, he was in high spirits and looked even more handsome and elegant. Yun, you're so beautiful today. After Mu Lianfeng praised her, he hugged Zhao Yuner's waist and couldn't wait to kiss his bride. Because they hadn't seen each other for a while, Mu Lianfeng missed Zhao Yuner indescribably. It was said that absence made the heart grow fonder. After being separated for a few days, his mind was filled with Zhao Yuner's figure. After waiting for so long, Zhao Yuner was finally here. Mu Lianfeng couldn't imagine if he left Yang City and Zhao Yuner for a little longer. Would he get lovesick? Zhao Yuner's mouth was suddenly blocked. The smell of Mu Lianfeng's alcohol filled her entire mouth. Zhao Yuner pushed Mu Lianfeng out. Cover. She felt that this guy would eat her up. He came aggressively and grabbed her head. He was very domineering. After pushing for a while, she couldn't push Mu Lianfeng away. Zhao Yuner pouted aggrievedly. This guy only knew how to bully people. Sigh, after enduring Mu Lianfeng's wanton behavior, Mu Lianfeng let go of her after a while. And Zhao Yuner had already been instigated to have some desire. Her body and cheeks were red as she waited for Mu Lianfeng's next move. However, after kissing her wildly, Mu Lianfeng pecked her on the forehead. Then, he stared at her as if he couldn't get enough of her. Zhao Yuner also looked at Mu Lianfeng. This man's eyes were surprisingly beautiful and a little bright. And looking at her affectionately gave her a different feeling. Aren't we going to continue? Zhao Yuner asked weakly. Continue what? Mu Lianfeng raised his eyebrows and asked. Zhao Yuner pouted. This guy must be doing it on purpose. Of course, we're going to consummate our marriage. After saying that, Zhao Yuner's cheeks turned even redder. Wouldn't it be shameless of her to take the initiative to court him? Sigh. When she was doing that with Mu Lianfeng, it had always been Mu Lianfeng who took the initiative. As a woman, Zhao Yuner felt that it was too shy of her to take the initiative. Mu Lianfeng's lips curled up slightly as if he was smiling. Zhao Yuner wondered if this guy was mocking her. Chapter 2374. Mu Lianfeng whispered gently in Zhao Yuner's ear. In fact, compared to Zhao Yuner, he couldn't wait to have her. He wanted to have sex with her and release the longing that he had been suppressing these days. However, he had to control himself when he wanted Zhao Yun, because he had to consider Zhao Yun, It was not easy for Zhao Yun, to marry him. If he woke up too late tomorrow, he wouldn't even have time to serve tea. He was afraid that not only old Madame Mu, but also the whole Shitzi mansion would have a problem with Zhao Yun, The worst thing about a rich family was that they had too many rules. They were not as honest as the villagers. Once he and Zhao Yun, consummated their marriage and aroused that kind of desire, he was afraid that he wouldn't have enough. After a night of torment, how could Zhao Yun have the strength to get up the next day? So, he had to endure it today. After he followed the rules, he would get it back from Zhao Yun, tomorrow night. Zhao Yun, was suddenly embarrassed. Then, let's sleep. Although she still couldn't help it, Zhao Yun, felt that Mu Lianfeng was more reasonable. She had to get up early tomorrow to serve tea. She wasn't afraid of old Madame Mu, but she wanted to follow the rules thoroughly. At least, old Madame Mu wouldn't have an excuse to find fault with her. Okay. Go and wash up first. Okay. She had heavy makeup on her face, so she had to wash it first. After a good night's sleep, Zhao Yun, woke up early the next morning. According to the rules, she served tea to old Madame Mu. Zhao Yun was worried that old Madame Mu would give her a hard time. To Zhao Yun's surprise, old Madame Mu didn't make things difficult for her this time. Zhao Yun was really surprised. Could it be that old Madame Mu had sincerely accepted her? Although she had doubts in her heart, seeing that old Madame Mu didn't find fault with her, it was better than before. The servants of the Crown Prince's residence were quite courteous to her. After all, she was now married to Mu Lianfeng, and it was under the auspices of the emperor. No matter how much the servants looked down on Zhao Yun's identity as an ordinary citizen, they didn't dare to say anything. They didn't dare to be disrespectful to Zhao Yun. Otherwise, if they were investigated, they wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. After the wedding, Zhao Yun stayed in the Shitzi manor for 2 days. She really couldn't stand the strict lifestyle of a rich family. She was much more comfortable in the countryside. Every day, she would chat and laugh with her relatives. Although there might be more weirdos in the village, she still felt that the countryside was better. How could Mu Lianfeng not see Zhao Yun's discomfort? He decided to take Zhao Yun back to the countryside. He was going to leave Yang City soon. During this period of time, he asked Zhao Yun to stay at his house. Although the Crown Prince's residence was good, it was not as comfortable as living in the countryside. He only hoped that Zhao Yun could live comfortably. It didn't matter even if she wasn't in the Shitzi manor. If Zhao Yun still wanted to stay at home in the future, then he would accompany her. Compared to the Shitzi manor, Mu Lianfeng also preferred Shui Lan village. Staying at Zhao Yun's house made him feel at home. As for the Shitzi manor, it was much more desolate. In the Shitzi manor, except for old Madame Mu, everyone else was a servant to Mu Lianfeng. And the servants were too formal with him. Due to etiquette, there wasn't a natural and relaxed feeling when interacting with him. It was different when he was with Zhao Yun's family. The family was harmonious and beautiful. It was simple but happy. Chapter 2375. The emperor was also with them. The emperor was going back to the palace in a few days. A few days before he went back, he thought about going to the countryside to play again. If he went back to the palace, he would not be able to experience the happiness of the people in the countryside. Without the restrictions of the Shitzi mansion, Zhao Yun lived a much more comfortable life. Sure enough, she was used to being free in the 21st century. She was not used to the rules of those rich families. Fortunately, she did not have to live in the Shitzi mansion for a long time. Otherwise, she felt that she might not be able to stand it. Back in Shuilan village, the air seemed to have become a lot fresher. The carriage stopped in the courtyard of Zhao Yun's house. This time, it was also a return to the family. Old Madame Mu was not stingy. She bought many gifts for Zhao Yun and brought them back to her parents' house. Zhao Yun's family had already eaten breakfast. In the morning, Yili helped Zhao Yun's family chop wood in the courtyard. Chopping wood was a physical work. Yili felt that his physical strength was much stronger than Zhao Wenhua's. Moreover, Zhao Wenhua was old and his waist was not very good. Naturally, he would do this kind of work. Since he was at Zhao Yun's house and had nothing to do, he would do his best where he could. What he could do now was to share the worries of Zhao Yun's family. Also, after living in Zhao Yun's house for so long, the third branch's family had been good to him. Naturally, he should repay their kindness and not be lazy at home and do nothing. For Yili, who had been practicing martial arts for a long time, chopping wood was too easy. He raised his axe and swung it down, splitting the wood into 2 halves. Anil watched from the side with a look of obsession. He did not know why, but he felt that Yili's appearance when chopping wood was particularly handsome. He always felt that he had an inexhaustible strength. Men should be like this. He was not interested in those who were like Sissy. Although they were handsome, they were as weak as women. Yili chopped the firewood while Anil sat in front of the table, propping up his chin with one hand and staring at Yili. If this had happened in the past, Yili probably wouldn't have been able to accept it. But now that he was used to it, he didn't think much of it. If he wants to look, then let him look. He can just pretend that he doesn't know. Anyway, Anil wouldn't pay attention to her even if she asked Anil not to look at her. When Zhao Yun's carriage stopped in the courtyard, Anil and Yili both looked towards the carriage. They knew that Zhao Yun had returned. Yili wiped a thin layer of sweat on her forehead. There was a touch of expectation in her eyes. He hadn't seen Zhao Yun for a few days, and he missed her a little. Now that he saw Zhao Yun's familiar figure, he was a little excited. When Anil saw Yili's reaction, he knew that Yili was always thinking about Zhao Yun. He was sad, but he was also happy for Yili. In fact, as long as Yili was happy, he was happy. Even if he knew that Yili was happy because of another woman. However, the figure that came out of the carriage stunned Anil. It was an extremely familiar figure wearing bright yellow clothes. Anil was so scared that he quickly turned his head and wanted to escape. Unfortunately, it was too late. He had been caught by that person. Stop! The emperor roared with a slightly dignified voice. And Lu immediately stopped in his tracks. His brows furrowed together as he turned his head away reluctantly. Hee hee. Anil smiled at the emperor, but his smile was a little stubborn. The emperor walked in front of Anil and carefully sized up Anil. His expression was very serious. Chapter 2376. And Li's face was filled with smiles as he tried to curry favor. Tell me, how did you come here after a long journey? Who gave you the courage to come here? The emperor raised his eyebrows and continued to question him. Anil's expression became more colorful. He didn't know what to say with a crying face. Why was he so unlucky? He thought that he would be fine after escaping last time. Who knew that the emperor would come again? If he had known that the emperor would come, he would have quickly hidden. He wouldn't have been caught red-handed. Unfortunately, it was useless to say anything now because he had already been caught. Didn't I think that it was too boring at home? You can come out for a walk, why can't I? I also want to play. After coming out, I realized how good it is outside and how carefree it is here. Anil said aggrievedly. He had been cooped up in that courtyard deep in the palace. He was probably bored like a canary. Now, he really experienced a sense of happiness that he had never felt before. If he hadn't come out, how could he have known about the carefree days outside? You're so carefree. Aren't you afraid that your mother will be worried after coming out? The emperor glared at Anil. She won't be worried about me. She will only force me to do things that I don't like. Anil complained again. You're becoming more and more undisciplined and out of control. The emperor poked Anil's head a few times with his finger. After being scolded by the emperor, Anil pulled the emperor's sleeve and said aggrievedly, How am I undisciplined and out of control? I'm just bored out of my mind. Woo-woo. Don't argue with me, okay? Alright. Don't say any more. It's not convenient to say it here. The emperor cleared his throat. Because he couldn't let Zhao Yun's family know his identity, it was naturally inconvenient to say some things. The fact that the emperor and Annel knew each other was out of Zhao Yun's expectations. She knew that Annel's identity wasn't simple from the way he dressed. However, she didn't associate Annel with the emperor. Since he was so familiar with Emperor Huang, it meant that Annel should be a relative of the emperor. TSK. This identity wasn't simple. Zhao Yun didn't know what kind of charm or secret attraction her family had that attracted these people with unusual identities to come here. You know each other? Zhao Yun smiled. The emperor also turned to smile and answer, yes, this is my family's little brother. Huh, what a coincidence. Zhao Yun said. The emperor's little brother. That must be a prince. This identity was indeed not simple. No wonder Enlu could be so rich when he spent money previously. With her brother, the emperor, she could have as much money as she wanted. Enlu also grinned, that's right. Miss Yun, this is my big brother. I didn't expect you to know him. Looks like we're fated to meet. Huh, sometimes fate is really wonderful. Hee, Miss Yun, if I had known that you and my big brother knew each other, I would have come earlier. I wouldn't have waited until now. After Annel finished speaking, the emperor knocked on Annel's head. What? Don't you feel that you're causing trouble for others? How could I? Annel muttered unhappily. He said it as if he was a troublemaker. Chapter 2377. He was used to being pampered and spoiled. When had he ever done such menial work? Thus, Annel felt that he was already very good at coming to Zhao Yun's house to do these things. Unfortunately, his imperial brother still felt that he was causing trouble for her. Perhaps in his imperial brother's eyes, he was someone who didn't do proper work. The emperor turned to Zhao Yun and said apologetically, Miss Yun, I didn't know that this fellow actually snuck out from home. He's caused trouble for Miss Yun's family these days. I'll bring him back when I go back in a few days. When Madame An heard this, she immediately became anxious. Brother, I don't want to go back. What nonsense are you talking about? Don't tell me you want to stay in someone else's house for the rest of your life. Stay in the countryside for the rest of your life? You have to be clear about your status. The emperor's expression became serious again, as if there was no room for negotiation. Annel tugged at the emperor's arm and said coquettishly, Brother, I really don't want to go back. It's not as fun at home as here. It's so nice here. I'm very safe here. Brother, please let me stay, I beg of you. I like it here. I want to stay here. I said no means no. There's no room for discussion. You actually snuck out this time. It's good enough that I didn't settle the score with you. You're still pushing your luck. The emperor snorted coldly. Annel pursed his lips and looked at the emperor with a hint of hidden bitterness. You're a bad person. I'm ignoring you. Annel angrily ran away as he spoke. Stop right there. The emperor was also a little angry. He was spoiled and used to being willful. That was why he was somewhat undisciplined. If he continued to be willful, who knew what would happen to him? No. Annel stubbornly refused. He continued to run forward, crying as he ran. When Zhao Yun saw Annel's appearance, she felt some sympathy for Annel. Sigh, perhaps many people didn't like living in the imperial palace. How could they be as comfortable as living in her home? No wonder Annel wanted to stay in her home. She wouldn't even be willing to go back to the Z residence, let alone a place like the imperial palace. The emperor looked at Annel's fleeing figure and sighed helplessly. Sigh, then, he smiled at Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng and said, Sorry for making a fool of myself. He's used to it. It's fine. Let's go inside and have a seat, Mu Lianfeng said. It was indeed tiring to rush back, so there was no need to continue standing. The emperor nodded and followed Zhao Yun'er into the room. After resting for a while at Zhao Yun'er's house, Yili was not affected and continued to chop wood. When Anil was around, it was Anil who stared at Yili. Now that Anil had left, the emperor sat in front of the table and watched Yili chop wood. Yili felt very upset. This pair of brothers was really interesting. It was one thing for Anil to stare at him non-stop, but why did an older brother also stare at him non-stop? What was there to look at for a man like him? Why did a man have to stare at another man? He didn't understand. These two brothers must have some special fetishes, but he just couldn't accept such fetishes. Yili could only comfort himself and pretend that he didn't know. In any case, it wasn't the first time he was stared at. Zhao Yun'er was preparing to go to the kitchen to cook when she saw the emperor looking at Yili with a scorching and suspicious gaze. She couldn't help imagining a rotten scene. She couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. The emperor was really too concerned about Yili. Chapter 2378. It was a good thing that Yili was skilled in martial arts and could protect himself well. Otherwise, in the 21st century, people would really start to plot against him. Ahem, young Master Huang, is there anything you want to eat for lunch? Zhao Yun'er walked in front of the emperor and asked. After all, the emperor wouldn't be staying at her house for long, so she had to take care of him as much as possible. The emperor snapped out of his daze and smiled at Zhao Yun'er. Miss Yun'er, just make a few simple home-cooked dishes. I can eat them all. Zhao Yun'er nodded. All right. I'll just make a few simple dishes. There were quite a few home-cooked dishes, such as shredded pork with green peppers, hot and sour shredded potatoes, garlic eggplant. These dishes tasted pretty good, so the emperor would definitely like them. I'll have to trouble Miss Yun'er. The emperor smiled. Just as Zhao Yun'er was about to enter the kitchen to cook, the emperor spoke again. This young Master Ye's martial arts are pretty good. And he's vigorous and powerful. He's a talent. When Zhao Yun'er heard this, she smiled and said, that's right, Yili's martial arts are indeed pretty good. But why did she feel that the emperor's words sounded a little strange? It was because the emperor admired Yili that Zhao Yun'er felt strange. Could it be that the emperor admired Yili's talent so much that he liked Yili so much? If that was the case, then it was fine. As long as the emperor didn't fancy Yili's face, then it was fine. After the emperor finished speaking, he inwardly shook his head. It's such a pity. Such a talent is actually willing to stay in this mountain village and chop wood. It's such a waste of talent. The emperor had a regretful expression on his face. The corner of Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched. Was the emperor feeling sorry for Yili? She had thought that the emperor had other thoughts towards Yili, but now it seemed that the emperor only admired Yili's talent. He felt that it was a pity that Yili could not use his skills in her family. However, everyone had their own goals. Zhao Yun'er knew that Yili wasn't an ambitious person. All he wanted was an ordinary life. As for saying that his abilities were wasted. In fact, different personal evaluations would lead to different conclusions. The so-called waste was relative to the national level. The emperor was the one in power, so he naturally wanted people like Yili to serve the country. As for Zhao Yun'er, Yili was her friend. It wasn't important whether Yili could do something earth-shattering. What was important was whether Yili was happy. As long as Yili felt that this was the best way of life for him and that he could always be happy, then that was the best. In response to the emperor's words, Zhao Yun'er only smiled and did not respond. Zhao Yun'er walked into the kitchen and started cooking. The emperor continued to stare at Yili. After Yili finished chopping wood, the emperor called out to Yili, "Young hero Yi, come and sit." Yili glanced at the emperor indifferently. He felt that the emperor was a little too concerned and harbored ill intentions. So he ignored the emperor and glanced at him indifferently. "What do you want?" "Young hero Yi, I think we can talk," the emperor said with a smile. Yili proudly raised his chin and replied, we have nothing to talk about. After speaking, Yili turned and went into the kitchen. He fetched a basin of water and washed his body. His body was covered in sweat from chopping wood just now. It was very uncomfortable when the sweat stuck together. He would only feel comfortable after washing his body. Chapter 23:79. He took a towel and wiped himself. Because his back was also soaked in sweat, he took off his jacket. After taking off his jacket, his powerful muscles were revealed. Yili's muscles were not like those of overly muscular fitness trainers. This kind of muscular figure gave people a sense of strength, but it did not feel too excessive. The people in the courtyard also saw Yili's appearance when he took off his jacket. Actually, it was very common for people in the countryside to be topless. This was because the men in the countryside looked like this when they went to work in the fields. They did not feel embarrassed to be topless. When it was time for lunch, Anil was hungry, so he came back helplessly. He wanted to have some backbone, but unfortunately, backbone could not be eaten. His stomach was growling from hunger. He was the one suffering, not his imperial brother. It was not worthwhile for him to do this for his imperial brother. Sigh, Anil sighed heavily. In the end, it was because he was not capable enough. Otherwise, he would have known how to take charge of his own life. When he came back, he saw Yili bathing in the courtyard. That muscular figure was exposed to the air, and he almost vomited blood. He knew that Yili had a good figure, but he did not expect Yili's figure to be so good. His gaze landed on Yili, and for a moment, he could not look away. He was so excited that he almost vomited blood, but he could not help but continue to look. He kept screaming in his heart, "Damn, damn, damn." This scene was really explosive. It would be fine if it was someone else, but it just had to be Yili, the person he loved the most. How could he not have some thoughts when he saw him topless? Not far away, the emperor saw this scene and was a little angry. He quickly walked forward and blocked in front of Anil. He covered Anil's eyes and whispered in Anil's ear, "Damn girl, shameless. What are you looking at?" Imperial brother. Anil, who was blindfolded, could not do it. He quickly pushed the emperor away. "You're still looking? You've only been out for a few days. Have you forgotten all the etiquette and shame you've learned before?" The emperor asked in a serious tone. I didn't. I just looked at it by accident." "Seriously?" Anil pouted unhappily. "You still dare to say that? I'll teach you a lesson when we get back." I'm not going back. I want to stay here." Anil still said with some firmness. "Stay here? Hee. Wicked girl, was it because of Yili? I see that the way you look at him is a bit different." The emperor's eyes were somewhat sizing him up. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Anil. Anil felt a little guilty and replied stubbornly, "No. No? Of course not. Damned girl, don't I know you well enough? What can you hide from me?" The corners of the emperor's mouth curled up as if he had seen through Anil. Anil felt hurt. Her imperial brother was really bullying her. He wanted her to go back, saw through her thoughts, and mercilessly exposed her. He did not give her any face at all. So what if it is? I like Yili. I like him. So what? He's handsome and capable. It's normal to admire him, right? Brother, I won't go back. I won't let you and imperial mother arrange my marriage. Chapter 23:80. Anil said with a stubborn expression. Before she met Anil, she simply didn't want to marry someone she didn't like. But now she met Yili. She was determined to marry Yili even if she had to marry in the future. She was used to being thick-skinned, so she wasn't embarrassed to say this in front of the emperor. The emperor frowned. "Anil, don't forget that you're a princess. With your status, your marriage isn't something you can decide. Your husband, the future prince consort, was carefully selected by Imperial Mother for you. They are all giants among men. Your status is only worthy of the best. How could a country bumpkin like Yili not be worthy of your status? What's wrong with Yili? I think Yili is pretty good. How could a normal country bumpkin compare to him? Anil couldn't help but defend Yili. She never felt that the status of a princess was very noble. If this status was a reason to bind her, then she would rather not have this status. Forget about whether Yili was worthy of her. As long as Yili could accept her, she would rather abandon everything and be with Yili. He's nothing, how can he not be a country bumpkin? Alright, stop being so willful. Your parents' orders and matchmakers' words are not for you to mess around with. Imperial older brother. You're my good imperial older brother, please help me. Anil immediately put on a pitiful expression and looked at the emperor with pleading eyes. Help you? And lo, it's not like you don't know. Although Zhen is the monarch of a country and can make a lot of decisions, I can't control Imperial Mother's affairs. What Imperial Mother wants to do is her own decision. How can I dare to intervene? The emperor mercilessly refused. Anil pursed her lips and her face was full of grievance. If even her imperial older brother couldn't do anything, then it was even more impossible for Imperial Mother. Then there would be no chance between her and Yili. Royal brother. Why don't you give Yili an official position? As long as you say it, it's not a big deal. Enlil looked at the emperor and begged. An official position? How high was his rank? If he didn't do anything, it would be unreasonable for us to suddenly bestow him a high official position, and it would be inevitable that others would have opinions. But if it was just a small official position, it wouldn't have any effect. Can Imperial Mother take a fancy to someone with a small official position? Although what the emperor said was true, it was another thing to hear the emperor say the truth. Anil's face was gloomy and unhappy. He did not know what to do. However, but what? Anil asked anxiously. However, I feel that this young Master Yi is quite capable. If he can serve the country, he will definitely achieve great things. If he can do something, it won't be difficult for me to slowly promote him. Hearing the emperor's words, Anil's heart was filled with hope again. That's right, that's right. Imperial older brother, young Master Ye's martial arts are very powerful. If Imperial older brother can make him serve the court, he will definitely be able to achieve great things. Anil began to look forward to it. People like Yili should not be ordinary. He hoped that his Imperial older brother could really use Yili. His Imperial older brother helplessly curled his lips, but young Master Yi doesn't have that intention. If he is willing, we would be happy to use such a talent. Chapter 2381. The emperor pondered for a moment and felt that Anil's words made some sense. It would be a pity not to make use of a talent like Yili. It seemed that he had to properly persuade Yili while he was at Zhao Yun'er's house and make Yili willing to work for the court. Anil, if this Yi Gongzi agrees with us, then you have to come back with us. Don't wander around outside. It's not like the palace outside. You're just lucky that you didn't meet any bad people. The emperor warned. Anil nodded heavily, of course, imperial brother. If Yi Gongzi can serve the country and become a high official, then I can marry him. I'll listen to everything imperial brother says. All right. In the next few days, the emperor did his best to persuade Yili while he was at Zhao Yun'er's house. He wanted Yili to accept him and serve the court. Although Yili was a bit surprised when he found out about the emperor's identity, he quickly recovered and put on his usual aloof attitude. He didn't care about the emperor's identity at all. If it was anyone else, they probably wouldn't have the guts. However, Yili was like a proud little prince. In Yili's opinion, the court's matters had nothing to do with him. He didn't care about the court or the country. As long as he was happy and comfortable, that was the most important thing. However, from the conversation between Zhao Yun'er, the emperor, and Mu Lianfeng, he found out that Mu Lianfeng was going to the border. This meant that Mu Lianfeng would be away from Zhao Yun'er for a while. This wasn't the most important thing. What Yili was worried about was that the matter Mu Lianfeng was dealing with this time might be more troublesome. He didn't know how long it would take. If Mu Lianfeng couldn't come back for a long time, Zhao Yun'er would miss him very much. If she were to encounter any danger again, Zhao Yun would be worried all day long. For Yili, he did not have many goals in life. His only goal was to make sure that Zhao Yun'er was well. Nothing else mattered to him. This time, in order for Mu Lianfeng to return earlier and take less risks, Yili told the emperor that he was willing to follow Mu Lianfeng to the frontier fortress to take charge of the matters there and assist Mu Lianfeng. When the emperor saw that Yili had taken the initiative to volunteer, he knew that it was not easy. How could he refuse Yili? He immediately agreed. A few days later, Mu Lianfeng and Yili did not stay long in Shui Lan village before they set off for the frontier fortress. She didn't know how long this farewell would take. After Mu Lianfeng left, although Zhao Yun'er often missed Mu Lianfeng, her life was not affected too much. She still lived her life as usual. She still cared about oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, and tea. After Qin Yuan recuperated at Zhao Yun'er's house for a while, the injury on his butt was much better. After a few more days of recuperation, he would be able to get out of bed and walk around. Zhao Ping'er, on the other hand, was preparing for a major undertaking of hers, which was to become beautiful. Speaking of which, the third household was a bit surprised. They originally thought that Zhao Ping'er's face could not be saved. However, Zhao Ping'er went to the town's doctor to take a look. Unexpectedly, it could be slowly treated. The doctor prescribed a medicine for the birthmark on Zhao Ping'er's face. After applying it every day, the birthmark on her face became lighter and lighter. Chapter 2382. Due to these improvements in her external appearance, Zhao Ping looked a lot prettier than before. As the saying goes, a fair complexion covers up 3 ugly things. When a person was fair and her skin was better than before, she would look a lot prettier. Zhao Ping was very satisfied with her changes. She would look at herself in the mirror every day just to see the minute changes in her appearance. Although she had spent quite a lot of money buying ointment and medicine from the doctor, she had already spent 20 to 30. In such a short period of time, he had already spent 20 to 30 taels. If he wanted to fix his entire face, he would need at least 60 to 70 taels. To a country bumpkin, 60 to 70 taels was definitely a huge amount of wealth. An ordinary family would probably scrimp and save for their entire life and might not even have 60 to 70 taels of silver. However, to Zhao Yun'er, the restaurants in Yang City had an income every day, so she was not too worried about money. As long as she could fix her face, then everything would be worth it. Since money could be exchanged for beauty, people like Zhao Ping would spare no effort to exchange for it. Zhao Ping walked in front of Qin Yuan with a shy look and asked Qin Yuan, "Big brother Yuan, take a look. How's my face recently?" Qin Yuan sized up Zhao Ping and saw that Zhao Yun'er's face was much better than before. He praised, "Ping, you've become really prettier these few days." It was not easy to receive Qin Yuan's praise. Zhao Ping felt sweet inside. "Is that so? Of course. Big brother Yuan. You're not trying to make me happy, right?" Zhao Ping stared at Qin Yuan and asked with a burning gaze. "Of course not. Ping, I'm speaking the truth. You've really become prettier. The birthmark and spots on your face have faded a lot, and your skin is much fairer too." Qin Yuan's gaze landed on Zhao Ping and could not shift away. In fact, after Zhao Ping's skin recovered, her facial features were really good. If the birthmark could be completely removed, her skin would become fair and smooth. Not only would she not be ugly, but she would also look like a great beauty. From the looks of it, he had profited. Why didn't he know that Zhao Ping was actually quite pretty before? Zhao Ping had a blissful look on her face. She chuckled and said, "Big brother Yuan, the doctor said that after another month, the things on my face will all be removed." At that time, I won't be ugly anymore. I know that my looks are a little too shabby. I'm a little unworthy of Big Brother Yuan. When I'm not so ugly anymore, Big Brother Yuan will say that I'm your wife in the future, and I won't embarrass you anymore. Zhao Ping said sincerely. This was also what she was thinking. She was really too ugly. When Qin Yuan had married her, she had been laughed at so many times. Even if Qin Yuan did not despise her now, Zhao Ping still did not want to embarrass Qin Yuan. The reason why she became prettier this time was not only because she did not want to continue being ugly and changed for Qin Yuan's sake, but also because she did not want Qin Yuan to embarrass himself because of having a wife like her. After hearing Zhao Ping's words, Qin Yuan was very touched. What a silly woman. She always thought of him before doing anything. How could he not cherish this opportunity? Qin Yuan held Zhao Ping's hand and said with an expression on his face, Ping, even if you're still the same and have not become prettier, I won't despise you. Chapter 2383. Zhao Ping was also moved by Qin Yuan's words. She felt that everything was worth it for her big brother Yuan to be able to change from his previous attitude to this. With Big Brother Yuan around, life would always develop in a beautiful direction. Big Brother Yuan, you're so nice. Zhao Ping said with a touched face. Ping, you're the best. Qin Yuan smiled slightly and also replied to Zhao Ping, The two of them gazed at each other affectionately. Zhao Ping even had an indescribable sense of happiness. She and Big Brother Yuan's relationship was really getting better. When she became beautiful again, she didn't know how happy she would be. The more she thought about it, the more excited Zhao Ping became. In the past, Zhao Ping felt that God was unfair to her. She was so ugly, yet she couldn't get married. Now, she felt that God wanted her to wait for Qin Sheng's arrival. At least, God was slowly giving her what she didn't have in the past. It was as if he was making up for what he owed her in the past. On Zhao Yun's side, she didn't have much to do after Mu Lianfeng left. Every day, she would cook in the countryside and take care of the children. Because there were many people in the family, there were many things that others could help with. Therefore, Zhao Yun was very relaxed and not tired. The weather also gradually turned a lot colder. Zhao Yun began to prepare to build a pigsty. It was very easy to buy a piece of land in the village. She also got Zhao Wenhua to invite a bricklayer and her eldest uncle and second uncle over. She also invited some men to help. Because the busy season of farming had passed, the rice in the fields had basically been harvested. The men in the countryside also had nothing to do at home. Many men were looking for this kind of work. Therefore, it was very easy for Zhao Yun's family to find people to come back and help with the work. In order to make his brothers' lives easier and help each other more, Zhao Wenhua asked Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Wentao to help him. He paid them 35 copper coins a day and even provided them with lunch. Zhao Wenshui was very happy. As a man, the most inconvenient thing for him was to cook. He hadn't cooked for decades, so how could he possibly know how to? He didn't have a wife at home, so he couldn't count on others. He also couldn't keep troubling his fourth brother, so he could only brace himself and do it himself. However, his culinary skills were too poor. The food he made was hard to swallow. Zhao Tianyu cried and refused to eat. After a period of torment, Zhao Wenshui felt that he had lost a lot of weight due to hunger. Now that he was helping his third brother's family with their work, the best thing he could do was to have a meal at noon, which would more or less solve some of his problems. Zhao Wenhua had already contacted someone to order the bricks and tiles for the pigsty and sent them to Shuilan village. He had been preparing to build the pigsty for the past few days. Once the pigsty was built, he could raise pigs. Zhao Yun's youngest aunt's family could come over and busy themselves with raising pigs. In fact, according to Zhao Yun's family's current wealth, they didn't need to earn money at all. The money they had now was enough to eat and drink well for the rest of their lives. However, if they didn't do anything at home every day, they would feel that their lives were too empty. If there was something that they could work on, they would feel that their lives were more promising. Moreover, building a pigsty was a long-term skill. If they asked their relatives to help, they would also be able to earn money from the work. It was better to teach a man to fish than to give him a fish. No matter how rich she was, she couldn't give it to others for no reason. She had to make everyone rich together. Chapter 2384. The only thing she could do was to help the people she was close to not have to work so hard so that they could live more comfortably. Everything was going according to Zhao Yun's plan. Everything was proceeding in an orderly manner and they did not encounter any trouble or obstacles. The day before they started work, Zhao Wenshui suddenly ran to the third branch's house crying and started complaining to them. Zhao Yun's family asked with concern, "Second brother, what's wrong with you?" "Yeah, why is second brother crying all of a sudden? What happened?" Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were a little confused. Zhao Wenshui was still fine yesterday. How did he suddenly become like this? Moreover, Zhao Wenshui was bawling loudly as if he had encountered something very serious. Zhao Ping had already applied the ointment on her face. She happened to be in the courtyard and asked Zhao Wenshui, "Second uncle, why are you crying so sadly? Did my grandmother die?" If Hua Chunhua really died, she would probably clap her hands and praise her. That old witch liked to cause trouble every day. She should have been dealt with long ago. How could she continue to be so carefree? After Zhao Ping finished speaking, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao both glared at Zhao Ping. This girl really did not use her brain before speaking. "Ping, what nonsense are you talking about? How could you curse your grandmother like that?" "That's right. You like to talk nonsense. How could your grandmother die when she was fine? If your grandmother heard this, she would probably settle the score with you." Zhao Ping pursed her lips and replied unhappily, "Father, mother, I was just saying it casually. Do you have to be so fierce to me?" Liang Jinxiao said with a solemn face, "Sigh, when will you change your character, lass? You don't even think before you speak." Zhao Ping saw that Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were really angry, so she didn't say anything. After Zhao Ping stopped talking, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao said to Zhao Wenshui, "Second brother, you haven't told us what happened." When Zhao Wenshui thought of this, he started crying again. "Wu, third brother, third sister-in-law, I feel so aggrieved." Zhao Wenhua quickly asked, "Why?" "Second brother, tell us quickly. How would we know if you don't tell us?" "Wu. Third brother, third sister-in-law, second brother might really be single for the rest of his life." Wah. Second brother. Second brother, what should I do in the future?" The more Zhao Wenshui spoke, the sadder he became. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao looked at each other. What did Zhao Wenshui mean by this? "Second brother. What do you mean by you'll be single for the rest of your life? Why did you suddenly say that?" Wu. Zhao Wenhua choked a few more times. "Your second sister-in-law and second brother are really, really impossible. She's actually getting married. I thought that as long as I persevered, your second sister-in-law would agree to forgive me and I could live happily with her in the future. Who knew that she's already preparing to marry someone else? That means that it's impossible between us. What should I do? How can your second sister-in-law be so cruel to me? She's really abandoning me." After hearing Zhao Wenshui's words, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao couldn't help but sigh. In fact, they had already known about this for a long time. Previously, they had seen Li Chuiying and Zhao Wenshui together in Yang City. They also knew that the two of them were about to be together, but they didn't dare to tell Zhao Wenshui about it. Chapter 2385. After all, he knew that Zhao Wenshui would definitely be sad when he found out. Zhao Wenshui finally decided to change. He wanted to live a good life and find Li Chuiying. He wanted Li Chuiying to live a good life with him. If Zhao Wenshui knew that Li Chuiying chose to be with Zhao Ping, would he lose his determination to continue living a good life? Sometimes, life was like this. There was only one constant goal. Only when one had a plan and had something to look forward to could one live a good life. Only then could one make up one's mind and stick to the path one should take. However, once this dream was shattered, one might not be able to recover from the setback and lose the motivation to continue living a good life. After all, the truth could not be concealed. Zhao Ping was from the same village as them. Even if they tried to hide this matter, they could not hide it for too long. This time, he didn't know where Zhao Wenshui had heard the news from. After hearing the news, he started bawling his eyes out in grief. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao sympathized with Zhao Wenshui. They knew that Zhao Wenshui had changed a lot recently. He worked hard and was very different from before. Second brother, don't be sad. This is second sister-in-law's choice. As time passes, she will slowly forget about it. You work hard now and earn more money back. Later, find a few reliable matchmakers to help you search. You will definitely be able to find a woman who is willing to live with you. Zhao Yunlong patted Zhao Wenshui's shoulder and said. Liang Jinxiao also responded, yes, second brother, don't be sad. Second sister-in-law must not know about your current situation. When she comes back and sees that you have changed, she will believe it. Then, she might be willing to continue living with you. No matter what, second sister-in-law is Tianyu's mother. Which mother would bear to let her child suffer? Living with you is the best for Tianyu. Hearing Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao's words, Zhao Wenshui blinked and looked up to ask, third brother, third sister-in-law, is that really the case? Yes, second brother. It's useless to think so much now. Don't think about it. Living a good life is the best. Woo-woo. Zhao Wenshui could not help but wipe the tears from the corners of his eyes. He could not bear the thought of Li Chuiying living with another man. In his heart, how could he not know that Zhao Yunlong and Liang Jinxiao were saying these words to comfort him? Once Li married Zhao Ping, it would be difficult for Li Chuiying to come back to live a good life with him. However, he was willing to accept this lie. This way, he could deceive himself and give himself some hope. Otherwise, he felt that there was nothing to look forward to living a good life. Second brother, don't cry. Men don't cry easily. It's not good for a man to cry. People will laugh at you if they see you like this. Zhao Wenhua continued to persuade him. Yes. Second brother, calm down first. Zhao Wenshui choked and wiped the corners of his eyes. Second brother, sit down and rest for a while. Don't tire yourself out. Yes, Zhao Wenshui sat down on a stool and tried to hold back his tears. Seeing Zhao Wenshui like this, Zhao Yun felt that he was inexplicably adorable. She had never seen Zhao Wenshui so adorable before. Chapter 2386. After comforting Zhao Wenshui for a while, Zhao Wenshui went back to old Zhao's house. In the past 2 days, Zhao Yun's pig pen had been built. At first, they were laying the foundation. Because there were many people working, the work was done quickly. Within 7 or 8 days, the foundation had been laid. Laying the foundation was the most important step. Only after the foundation was laid could the house be built. A few days after the foundation was laid, Zhao Ping and Li Chuiying held a banquet to announce that they were going to spend the rest of their lives together. Because it was Li Chuiying's second marriage, unlike other newlyweds, they didn't hold a lavish wedding. Instead, they kept everything simple. Zhao Ping didn't invite other people in the village to the banquet either. He only invited his relatives and a few close friends of the Zhao family. There were only 2 tables in total. 2 women from the village who were good at cooking were invited to cook for them. Zhao Yun's family was naturally invited to the banquet. Except for the 4th branch, old Zhao's other family members didn't attend the banquet. Especially the 2nd branch, Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua. Zhao Wenshui didn't attend the banquet because Li Chuiying was his daughter-in-law. It would be very awkward if he attended the banquet. Zhao Baoshan and Hu Chunhua didn't attend the banquet because Li Chuiying was their daughter-in-law. Originally, she was part of old Zhao's family. Li Chuiying suddenly got together with Zhao Ping. It would be a little difficult for them to accept Li Chuiying. After the villagers learned about it, many people laughed at the old Zhao's family. They said that old Zhao's daughter-in-law got together with someone else, which was embarrassing. This time, Zhao Ping and Li Chuiying held a banquet. How could they attend the banquet? In Zhao Yun's family, only Zhao Yunhua and Liang Jinxiao went to eat. After all, there were too many people in the family. If all of them went, they would be able to fill the table. Wouldn't this be taking advantage of Zhao Ping's family? Because of this, Zhao Wenshui was depressed at home for a few more days. After a few days, he finally had the mood to go to work. Even if the sad days had to go on, he couldn't interfere with Li Chuiying's decision. No matter how much he wanted to get Li Chuiying back, there was nothing he could do if Li Chuiying refused to live with him. After all, he was the one who did something wrong and made Li Chuiying sad. What he needed to do now was to change himself and not do such ridiculous things again. At least he wouldn't regret it in the future. Li Chuiying and Zhao Ping were together. Every day when they cooked, Li Chuiying would call Zhao Tianyu to eat with him. This solved a problem for Zhao Wenshui. Li Chuiying knew that Zhao Tianyu was very tired every day. Zhao Tianyu's clothes and the dirty clothes that he didn't have time to wash were all washed together. This was a great help to Zhao Tianyu. Otherwise, as a man, he wouldn't be able to do such work. After these things, Zhao Wenshui thought it through. Although Li Chuiying didn't come back to live with him, Li Chuiying really thought a lot about him when he chose Zhao Ping. In addition, Zhao Ping didn't mind Li Chuiying's help, so he was very grateful to Zhao Ping. After thinking it through, Zhao Wenshui felt a lot more at ease in his heart. He also felt an unprecedented sense of relief. He had more hope for the future. The days passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was late autumn. The pigsty was almost finished. Only the beams and a layer of tiles were left. More than 20 pigsty would be completed. Chapter 2387. As for the barren hilltop, Zhu Eru and Mulan were busy planting tea trees. They were waiting for the new tea leaves to be harvested next year. The days were progressing in a better direction. Zhao Yun saw that although the people around her were busy, their lives were very fulfilling. Especially the days in the countryside, there was an indescribable feeling of comfort. The only thing that made Zhao Yun uneasy was Mu Lianfeng's situation. Mu Lianfeng and Yili should have reached the frontier fortress. She just didn't know how they were doing there and whether they had encountered any dangerous situations. She was afraid that Mu Lianfeng would encounter any accidents. However, in the late autumn, old Zhao's family received a piece of good news. It was someone from the capital city who had specially sent the good news to Shui Lan village. A large group of people beating gongs and drums stopped in front of old Zhao's house. Many people in the village were attracted over, wanting to know what was going on. When old Zhao's family saw so many people, they also came out of the house. As the head of the family, Zhao Baoshan said to the leader, "Sir, may I know why so many people have come to my house?" "Congratulations, old master, your eldest grandson Zhao Tianlong got 3rd place in this year's autumn examination. In the future, he will be a high-ranking official in the capital city. We have specially come to tell you the good news. This is really a joyous matter." Hearing the words of the leader of this team, the people of the Zhao family were stunned for a moment, and then they reacted. All of them were extremely excited. Zhao Tianlong was actually so promising that he actually got 3rd place in the imperial examination. This was an incredible matter. Actually, it was already not easy to become a high scholar. After becoming a high scholar, one would be able to become an official. Who would have thought that Zhao Tianlong would get 3rd place in the imperial examination? How many people in the great Zhou dynasty had participated in the imperial examination? Someone like Zhao Tianlong was 1 in 10,000. Being third place in the imperial examination was enough to show how amazing Zhao Tianlong was. Furthermore, this person had also said that Zhao Tianlong would be an official in the capital in the future. That would be even more incredible. The salary of an official in the capital city was probably higher than that of a county deputy in Sun City. After this, wouldn't the entire old Zhao family become part of the government? In old Zhao's family, it could be said that when one person attained the Tao, even his chickens and dogs would ascend to heaven. Thanks to Zhao Tianlong's good fortune, he was able to achieve meteoric success together with them. What? My Tianlong actually came in third place? Am I dreaming? Feng Zhangxia was overjoyed. She felt that it was unreal. Then, he hurriedly said to Zhao Wenshi, father of Sky Dragon, quickly pinch me and see if it hurts. Let me know if I'm dreaming. Zhao Wenshi was equally confused. He quickly said to Feng Zhangxia, come, pinch me too. Let me see if it hurts. Am I dreaming? Good, good, good. Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia pinched each other. With a bit of force, they both gasped in pain. However, it was precisely because of this pain that the two of them were even happier. Pain meant that this was real. Their son, Zhao Tianlong, had really achieved meteoric success and was third place in the imperial examination. Io, it's true, it's true. Father of Sky Dragon, our son has really made a name for himself. Feng Zhangxia was extremely excited. She was grinning from ear to ear. Chapter 2388. After all, our Sky Dragon is ambitious. Although we've spent a lot of money on his studies, he's motivated and has been working hard. He didn't let us down and got third place in the exam. The first branch was happy because Zhao Tianlong was part of the first branch. As Zhao Tianlong's biological parents, how could they not be excited? Although they had separated from the main branch, the other branches were equally happy. Zhao Tianlong getting third place was the luck of the entire old Zhao family. It gave all the members of the old Zhao family a lot of face. Who knew how many people would be envious of them if they told others about it? Especially after Zhao Tianlong became an official. Once he became a high-ranking official, wouldn't they become relatives of high-ranking officials? With a relative who was an official, their lives would be much better. Sometimes, when dealing with people, they would treat them well on account of Zhao Tianlong. As for the old Zhao family, they would definitely become a prestigious family in Shui Lan village. The other branches all had smiles on their faces. They couldn't wait to let the entire Shui Lan village know about Zhao Tianlong's third place. Not bad, not bad. Tianlong didn't embarrass me. Zhao Baoshan chuckled. Compared to Zhao Wenshi and Feng Zhangxia, he was much calmer. However, he still couldn't hide the smile on his face. Old master, third place is a dragon among men. It's not easy to get first place. The leader of the group shouted. Zhao Wentao quickly reminded Zhao Baoshan and the first branch. Father, big brother, what are you guys still standing there for? Hurry up and invite the officials to our house to have a drink and rest. They rushed such a long way to bring us this good news. We can't let them just stand there. Zhao Baoshan nodded heavily. Yes, yes, yes. Old Wu is right. Look at my brain, it's not working well. Young people are a little slow-witted. After saying that, Zhao Baoshan said to the group, please come in and have a rest. We'll have lunch at my house. I'll make some good dishes to treat them. The person who brought the good news didn't delay. Instead, he entered old Zhao's house. Zhao Baoshan was overjoyed. He hurriedly called for his family to start preparing. Hua Chunhua was also grinning from ear to ear. When she thought about how Zhao Tianlong would become an official, she, as his grandmother, would definitely be able to enjoy a good life together with him. She would be able to live a good life in the future and become the old madam of the Shengguan family. That would naturally be something to be happy about and proud of. Hua Chunhua said, my eldest daughter-in-law, my fourth daughter-in-law, you have to cook more delicious dishes for lunch and treat them well. Don't let our family lose face. Feng Zhangxia giggled and replied, Mother, of course. Qian Zhozha asked, Mother, what kind of good hospitality do we have? Hua Chunhua's eyes turned as she pondered and said, I have a dozen chickens at my place. You guys go pick a few out and make some chickens to eat. Mother, just chickens seems a little shabby. What else do we have to make? Qian Zhozha felt that just eating chicken would be too monotonous. Moreover, they came from the capital, so they might not fancy such food. Chapter 2389. Yes, sure. We still have to have pork. Just having chicken won't do. Qian Zhui nodded vigorously, agreeing with Hua Chunhua's words. Because they lived in the countryside, it was very inconvenient to eat meat. They could only go to Yang city or town to buy pork. Their village did not have a butcher, unlike other villages that had butchers who could buy pork directly. There were more people in the village, so there should be people who would buy some to eat. This was because there were many people in old Zhao's courtyard who came to watch the show. When they heard Hua Chunhua and Qian Hongzhao's conversation, some people took the initiative to curry favor. A woman walked up and said to Hua Chunhua and Qian Hongzhao, No need to ask anymore. My family has it. I just bought 2 caddies from town today. I'll go get it for you. The reason why she was trying to curry favor was because Zhao Tianlong was a high school graduate. If it were someone else, they probably would not do this. There were many benefits to having a good relationship with the Zhao family. The villagers were all smart people. Naturally, they could see the situation clearly and knew what to do. Hua Chunhua beamed and said, Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. We're all from the same village, so we should help each other. Tianlong, this child, has done our Shui Lan village proud. You don't have to pay for these 2 caddies of meat. You can eat it. Take it as my congratulations to your Zhao family. 2 caddies of meat cost dozens of copper coins. Since it was free, Hua Chunhua was naturally very happy. She politely thanked them and knew what they meant. She deliberately said, When that child, Tianlong, comes back, we must talk to him and let him remember this friendship. When the woman heard this, she immediately stopped joking and was very happy. When the other villagers heard this, they could not help it. Another came over to curry favor and said, My relatives just sent me a few jugs of good wine. I'll go get it for your family too. You have so many officials in your family, so you must use wine to entertain them. Hua Chunhua was a greedy person. When she heard this, she quickly said, Okay, thank you. I'll talk to my family's Tianlong later. The people in our village are so friendly. They're all good people. None of them were willing to fall behind, for fear that they would be targeted by the Zhao clan and not be able to benefit from it in the future. Basically, everyone who had something at home took out everything they had and waited for old Zhao's family to send it over. They wanted to establish a good relationship with him so that they could benefit from it in the future. Hua Chunhua enjoyed the feeling of being sought after by the entire village. This time, Zhao Tianlong had really brought honor to his family. If it was in the past, the villagers would not have fawned over them like this. There was a difference between passing the exam and not passing the exam. If you passed the exam, everyone would fear you and want to curry favor with you. Thinking that Zhao Tianlong would be able to become a high-ranking official in the future, Hua Chunhua felt an indescribable sense of pride. At this moment, in front of everyone, Hua Chunhua straightened her back even more and had a proud look on her face. Feng Zhangxia was the same as Hua Chunhua. She was also very pleased with herself. Especially when she heard the villagers praising Zhao Tianlong and envying her, how could she not be happy? In the future, when Zhao Tianlong became a high-ranking official, she would be the wife of a high-ranking official. How much face would she have if this were to spread out? Of course, face was one thing. Enjoying life in the future was another. Chapter 2390. After waiting for this year, she felt that all the hardships she had suffered in the past were worth it. This was because what parents hoped for the most was for their children to succeed. Fortunately, Zhao Tianlong did not disappoint her. Feng Zhangxia said to Hu Chunhua, "Mother, our family's culinary skills are not very good. The food that we make probably won't satisfy these officials. Why don't we call Yun over? That girl's culinary skills are good and the food she makes is delicious. The officials will definitely be satisfied after eating it." Since these people were here to announce the good news, as the family members of the current third-place finisher, they naturally had to help old Zhao maintain his reputation. These people who were here to announce the good news would not feel that their old Zhao family's food was too shabby. After hearing Feng Zhangxia's words, Hu Chunhua nodded and expressed her agreement. It is indeed much better to let Yun come over to cook. If we cook, it will purely be a waste of ingredients and we won't be able to make such delicious food. It's just that Yun's personality is too stingy. She might not be willing to come over and help us cook. After all, this was not an easy task. In addition, Zhao Yun was the current heir's consort and not an ordinary country girl. Naturally, she could not be casually ordered around to do such dirty and tiring work in the kitchen. Feng Zhangxia smiled and said, "It's fine, Mother. I'll go and talk to them first. If it really doesn't work, I'll call someone else over. However, this is Tianlong's joyous occasion. Yun has never been calculative about such important matters. She should agree to come over and help." Feng Zhangxia had a certain understanding of Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun's stinginess was only in matters of principle. Most of the time, she was never stingy about important matters. Just like when old Zhao's family held a few joyous occasions, Zhao Yun had always come over to help. If her tone was slightly better and she begged Zhao Yun more, Zhao Yun would definitely agree. Hu Chunhua responded, "All right, then you go." Yeah. Feng Zhangxia ran towards Zhao Yun's house. Before Feng Zhangxia arrived at Zhao Yun's house, Zhao Yun's family had already found out about Zhao Tianlong's third-place ranking. When the messenger arrived, everyone in the village went over to old Zhao's house to watch the commotion. When they found out that Zhao Tianlong had passed the high scholar examination, the news spread like wildfire throughout the village. In no time, the news had spread like wildfire. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxia were very happy when they found out that Zhao Tianlong had come in third place. They laughed and said, "Tianlong has been very outstanding since he was young. After he started studying, he received a lot of praise from the teachers. Who would have thought that he would really pass the imperial examination, and even get third place? This was a rare happy occasion. I don't think there's a talent like him in every village within 10 miles. Yes. There are so many people taking part in the imperial examination in Dezhou. It wasn't easy for Tianlong to stand out among them. It's our old Zhao's fortune. Our old Zhao's family saved up a lot of money for Tianlong's studies over the years. Now that we see him succeed in his studies and stand out among his peers, it's really gratifying. Isn't that right? To be able to get third place in the imperial examination, it was worth it no matter how hard we worked. Haha. It's really a happy occasion. I reckon that Tianlong will be back soon. We have to prepare some gifts for big brother and sister-in-law. In the future, we will definitely hold a banquet to congratulate Tianlong." Chapter 2391. Okay. We should go to father and mother's place to join in the fun. Zhao Wenhua was a person who liked to join in the fun. She called out to Liang Jinxiao and couldn't wait to join in the fun. Liang Jinxiao smiled and nodded. "Okay, I'll go and get ready. Yun, do you want to go and take a look?" Liang Jinxiao even called out to Zhao Yun, as he spoke. These days, he saw that Zhao Yun, was bored staying at home all day, so he wondered if there was something lively to take Zhao Yun, to have a look so that he could kill some time. Zhao Yun, smiled and replied, "Okay, mother, I'll join in the fun." Anyway, she was just staying at home and there wasn't anything important to do. She might as well join in the fun. Although she didn't have a good impression of her eldest cousin brother, Zhao Tianlong, it wasn't easy for Zhao Tianlong to pass the imperial examinations and even get third place in the examination. At the very least, it showed that Zhao Tianlong was a talent. Zhao Yun had some understanding of the ancient imperial examinations. The imperial examinations were the best way for people at the bottom of society to climb up. Villagers like them could only use the imperial examinations to change their social class fate. They wouldn't have to be poor farmers for the rest of their lives. Once they passed the imperial examinations, it was equivalent to a carp leaping over the dragon's gate and achieving meteoric success. However, passing the imperial examinations wasn't easy. It was much more difficult than the imperial examinations in the 21st century. It wasn't easy to become the provincial top scorer in the 21st century's imperial examinations. In ancient times, it was a national examination, so it was even more difficult. However, once one passed the imperial examinations, it meant that one could become an official and live a good life. That was why old Zhao's family and the entire Shui Lan village were so excited when Zhao Tianlong got third place in the imperial examinations. Just as the family was about to leave, they saw Feng Zhangxia walking over. Once she saw Zhao Yun, Feng Zhangxia came over with a smile. It was better to wait for Zhao Yun'er to congratulate her. Feng Zhangxia had already taken the initiative to say it. Yun'er girl, third brother, third sister-in-law, let me tell you a piece of good news. My family's Tianlong has passed the third place. The people in the capital have just sent the news. Seeing Feng Zhangxia beaming with joy, he knew how she felt at the moment. Zhao Yun'er, Zhao Wenhua, and Liang Jinxiao all congratulated him. Feng Zhangxia smiled shyly and explained her purpose in front of Zhao Yun'er with some embarrassment. Yun'er, Auntie has a favor to ask of you. I don't know if you're willing to. If you have something to say, just say it. Yun'er, it's like this. A group of people came to report the good news. There are about 7 or 8 of them. Your grandfather and grandmother said that we should treat them well. However, you know our culinary skills. No one can cook well. I'm afraid that these officials will dislike our food. Therefore, I came to ask Yun'er if you can help cook a meal for the head chef. Just treat them this once will do. Auntie knows that I've troubled you with this matter and I'm a little embarrassed. However, there's no other way. When your eldest cousin brother comes back, I'll ask him to thank you properly. Feng Zhangxia's words made it difficult to refuse. However, to Zhao Yun'er, this wasn't a big deal. Chapter 2392. Zhao Yun said, Auntie, I haven't said that I don't want to. But if I help cook, there's no one at home to cook. I'll have to bring my parents and Daodu, Tianfu, and Tianan over to eat. Otherwise, it would be more troublesome for them to cook lunch for themselves in the third branch. Liang Jinxiao was pregnant and couldn't do too much work. Mu Hin, on the other hand, had to help Mu Lan's family. Feng Zhangxia heard this and quickly nodded in agreement. Don't worry. Little girl Yun'er, since you're going to be the chef, your family will definitely have to follow you to eat. Even if you don't cook, they'll definitely call your third branch over for such a joyous occasion. Zhao Yun nodded, well, Auntie, that's fine. I'll go and help cook this lunch. When Feng Zhangxia heard this, she immediately smiled and said a few words to Zhao Yun, gratefully, Yun, girl, thank you so much. Only your good craftsmanship can support our old Zhao family's image. Auntie will remember your help this time. If you need any help in the future, Auntie will definitely do her best to help. In terms of eloquence, no one could beat Feng Zhangxia. Her words were very beautiful, but whether she could actually do it was another matter. At least from Zhao Yun'er's understanding of Feng Zhangxia was only good at talking. She didn't really help people much. Zhao Yun didn't like to be calculative in this aspect. Since she had decided to help out in the kitchen, she definitely didn't expect Feng Zhangxia to return this favor. Then let's go now. Zhao Yun called out. It was almost noon, so it was time to prepare to cook. If they cooked a few more dishes, they would have to work for a long time. It couldn't be delayed, so they had to hurry over to old Zhao's house and start working. Feng Zhangxia nodded heavily and responded, Okay, let's go, let's go. Zhao Yun, Zhao Ping, voice suddenly came from behind. Zhao Yun turned around and asked plainly, What? If you leave, what will Brother Yuan and I eat for lunch? Zhao Ping's tone had some dissatisfaction. The other members of the third branch could go to old Zhao's house to eat, but he and Qin Yuan couldn't. Because of Zhao Xinhui's incident, Zhao Ping and Hu Chunhua couldn't get along and couldn't meet. If Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan also went to old Zhao's house to eat lunch, with Hu Chunhua's temper, she would definitely chase them out with a knife. Since that was the case, they naturally wouldn't go over and invite a snub. At this moment, Feng Zhangxia also turned around and looked at Zhao Ping, feeling very displeased. She had finally succeeded in persuading Zhao Yun, to help out in the kitchen. How could she let Zhao Ping, come over and mess things up? The moment she saw Zhao Ping's face, Feng Zhangxia jumped in fright as if she had seen a ghost. At this moment, Zhao Ping's face was smeared with a layer of green medicine, making her entire face look very scary. Feng Zhangxia's first reaction in her mind was that Zhao Ping was really too ugly. Her second reaction was that ugly people were always up to no good. She was so ugly, yet she actually came out for a stroll. Zhao Yun curled her lips and replied plainly, Can't you burn your own hands and feet? Are you still counting on others? Chapter 2393. Zhao Yun rolled her eyes. This Zhao Ping was totally finding excuses for her own laziness. Even if it was really as Zhao Ping said, then Zhao Ping was indeed too pampering Qin Yuan. Everything she did was for Qin Yuan's sake. Was she afraid that Qin Yuan would not be full for a meal or something? Big sister Ping, when I usually cook, why don't you learn by the side? Don't you know how to cook when you do other things every day? Zhao Yun replied indifferently. Zhao Ping pursed her lips. I can't learn it. Then is it because your brain is too stupid? Zhao Yun, what do you mean? Literally. Look, big sister Ping, you still can't understand human language. Zhao Ping glared at Zhao Yun angrily. You slut, you're too much. Too much? How is it too much? It's you who's too much, right? Isn't it just lunch? You didn't do it yourself, yet you're counting on others. Even if Qin Yuan isn't used to other people's cooking, it's just a meal. Can't you just make do with a meal and eat something? After being rebuked by Zhao Yun like this, Zhao Ping did not know what to say. However, she still replied unwillingly, Zhao Yun, Big Brother Yuan's injuries haven't healed yet. You can't treat him unfairly. Zhao Yun snorted lightly and replied sarcastically, Haven't healed yet? How many days has it been, and you still say that he hasn't healed yet? Zhao Ping, are you using Qin Yuan's injuries as an excuse to stay here and not leave? I think the two of you can pack up and scram back to family Qin these few days. You, Zhao Ping, stared at Zhao Yun, not knowing what to say. In fact, Zhao Yun had guessed one thing correctly. She and Qin Yuan did want to continue to stay in the third branch. Not to mention that the third branch lived in a much better place. The most important thing was that the food in the third branch was also very good. This was something that family Qin couldn't compare to. Qin Yuan liked to eat Zhao Yun's cooking. He could eat every meal to his heart's content. If they returned to the family Qin, although they could buy good food with money, Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan's mother were not good at cooking. Even if they bought good ingredients, it would be a waste if they did not cook well. She might as well stay at Zhao Yun's place. At least she could eat and drink well every day. She wanted to live comfortably. How could she be willing to return to the family Qin? Big sister Ping, I didn't want to scold you at first, but you were so picky when you stayed in my house. You didn't know your place. Don't blame me for leaving quickly. Zhao Ping, pursed her lips and said, I left a long time ago. I'll move out in a few days. I'm already looking for a house in Yang City. Once I buy it, I'll move to Yang City. Who wants to live in this lousy countryside? It's best if you don't want to. Zhao Yun curled her lips and said. Humph. Zhao Ping, angrily turned around and went inside the house. Zhao Yun'er was too lazy to talk to Zhao Ping, She walked with Feng Zhangxia towards old Zhao's house. Feng Zhangxia sighed in relief. Fortunately, Zhao Yun'er didn't go back on her words. Otherwise, she would hate Zhao Ping, to death. Feng Zhangxia felt uncomfortable whenever she thought of Zhao Ping, She said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, you're too nice. You let Ping, and her husband stay in your house for so long. Don't you think it's troublesome? If it were me, I would have chased them away long ago if you were so picky and ordered me to do this and that. Chapter 2394. Feng Zhangxia smiled embarrassedly. That's right. It's a good thing that they're leaving. Seeing that Zhao Yun was no longer interested in the topic, Feng Zhangxia did not continue. She was not worried about other people's matters. If it was any other time, she would definitely nag about it. Now, Feng Zhangxia's heart was only filled with Zhao Tianlong. Zhao Tianlong was the third-place finalist in the high school and had made her proud. He could not wait for Zhao Tianlong to return and see for himself what his promising son looked like. The few of them quickened their pace and arrived at old Zhao's house in a short while. As the news of Zhao Tianlong being the third-place finalist had spread throughout the village, old Zhao's house had more people coming to join in the fun. Basically, more than half of the people in the village came over and surrounded old Zhao's courtyard in layers of people. Zhao Tianlong had not returned yet. If he did, the scene would probably be even grander. At this moment, Lord Li Zheng knew that Zhao Tianlong was the third-place finalist and hurried over to old Zhao's house to congratulate old Zhao. Zhao Baoshan was in charge of entertaining the guests. Lord Li Zheng chuckled and said, Old Master Zhao, congratulations. Your family's Tianlong is really capable to be the third-place finalist. He's really amazing. Not only is Tianlong the pride of old Zhao's house, he's also the pride of our entire Shui Lan village. Not to mention the third-place finalist, even an ordinary high scholar passing the examination was not easy. There might not even be a few people in one course of treatment, not to mention a third-place finalist in Shui Lan village. This was the first time this had happened. As the head of Shui Lan village, how could Lord Li Zheng not be happy? Thank you Lord Li Zheng. For you to specially come over to congratulate us is our family's Tianlong and the entire old Zhao's blessing. Zhao Baoshan was grinning from ear to ear, his face filled with pride. Lord Li Zheng chuckled, it's my duty to come over for such an important matter. Zhao Baoshan pulled Li Zheng's sleeves and said, Li Zheng, let's have lunch together today. Our old Zhao family has specially prepared some dishes to entertain you. Please don't refuse. Li Zheng chuckled and replied, this is my honor, how can I refuse? That's good, that's good. Lord Li Zheng, please come in. All right. Lord Li Zheng walked into old Zhao's house, while Zhao Baoshan was beaming with joy, with an indescribable sense of pride. More and more people came to old Zhao's courtyard to congratulate him. However, Zhao Baoshan only invited some of the more prestigious people in the village to stay for a meal. After all, there were too many people in the village. If they invited everyone, their family wouldn't be able to sit down and there wouldn't be enough food for them. The others could only stand in front of old Zhao's yard and join in the fun. Many people were envious of old Zhao's family for having such a talent, while others were jealous of old Zhao's family. However, no matter what, no one could change the fact that Zhao Tianlong was the third-place finalist. No matter how glorious old Zhao's family was, they could only be envious. Zhao Yun went to the kitchen with Feng Zhangxia and the rest to start preparing the dishes. As there were quite a lot of ingredients, there were fish, meat, chicken and duck. Zhao Yun could cook these dishes in a variety of ways. Chapter 2395. If they could combine some home-cooked dishes with these meat dishes, they would be able to make a sumptuous meal. Not long after, the fragrant smell of food wafted out from old Zhao's kitchen. Even those officials who were used to delivering messages to old Zhao's family couldn't help but take a deep breath when they smelled the aroma of the dishes in old Zhao's courtyard. They couldn't wait for the meal to start. On the other hand, Zhao Ping returned to the house in a huff. When he saw Zhao Ping's unhappy face, Qin Yuan asked gently, "Ping, what's wrong? You don't look happy. Did something happen?" Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said honestly to Qin Yuan, "Zhao Yun is really something. She ran over to old Zhao's house to cook for him. She left the two of us hanging out in the middle of the afternoon. Big brother Yuan, what are we eating later?" Qin Yuan was stunned. Then, he said gently, "It's fine. Just make do with something. Ping, I'll eat whatever you cook for me. I'm not picky." After hearing Qin Yuan's words, Zhao Ping felt much better. If Qin Yuan insisted that he only wanted to eat Zhao Yun's food, then she really couldn't do anything about it. However, when she thought about what Zhao Yun said just now, Zhao Ping said to Qin Yuan, "Big brother Yuan, we might have to move out in a few days. Zhao Yun, that B*TCH, is chasing us away now." Qin Yuan comforted her. "It's fine. Ping, once we buy a house in Yang City, we can move over. Anyway, my injuries are more or less healed. I don't have to stay here to recuperate anymore." Big brother Yuan, are your injuries really more or less healed? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" Zhao Ping asked with concern. "I'm fine. I'm really more or less healed. I can even get out of bed and walk around. Ping, you've been by my side for such a long time. You've seen me slowly get better." Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Actually, Qin Yuan could get out of bed and walk around some time ago. However, Zhao Ping was worried about Qin Yuan's condition, so she told Qin Yuan to lie down more often and not move around casually. This way, Qin Yuan's injuries would heal more completely. Otherwise, if he just came down and moved, who knew if the bumps would worsen the injury? "Ping, thank you for taking care of me all this time. I've seen everything you've done for me. I'll treat you well in the future. I'll never let you down." Qin Yuan looked at Zhao Ping affectionately. However, his attitude towards Zhao Ping a few months ago was completely different. Zhao Ping smiled shyly. "It's fine, big brother Yuan. I'm willing to do anything for you. You don't have to thank me because I'm willing to do it. Actually, it's good to leave this place. We can move to Yang City earlier and live a better life there. Yes, we'll live in Yang City in the future. It's much more convenient than living in this poor village. Yeah, the village isn't as prosperous as Yang City. It'll be more convenient for us to buy and eat whatever we want in Yang City. Big brother Yuan. My face is a little itchy. The doctor said it's fine if my face is itchy. I'll go and wash my face now." Zhao Ping suddenly felt itchy on her face and told Qin Yuan. The stuff that she applied on her face was the last medicine prescribed by the doctor. Chapter 2396. Zhao Ping couldn't wait to see how beautiful she looked. Once the birthmark and spots on her face were removed, she should look much better and wouldn't be as ugly as before. Qin Yuan smiled and nodded. There was a hint of doting in his eyes. Quickly go. Actually, he was also looking forward to Zhao Ping Ping's appearance after she became beautiful. Although he felt that the soul was more important than beauty, it would naturally be better if Zhao Ping could become more beautiful. No one would despise themselves for being good-looking or handsome. Zhao Ping ran out of the house eagerly. She fetched a basin of water and carefully washed her face. After a long while, she finally washed the ointment off her face. After washing up, Zhao Ping suppressed her excitement and ran into the house because the mirror was placed inside. "Big brother Yuan, what does my face look like now?" Zhao Ping asked nervously. Qin Yuan raised his head and took a look at Zhao Ping's face. He was instantly stunned. He actually didn't know that Zhao Ping could become so beautiful. After removing the birthmark and the spots on her face, Zhao Ping's skin had also become very fair after taking care of herself. She stood in front of him, slender and elegant. Her appearance was very delicate. Her appearance didn't pale in comparison to Zhao Xinhui's at all. Most importantly, Zhao Ping's skin was very fair, which made her even more beautiful. Qin Yuan looked at her a few more times in disbelief. His eyeballs spun, and he was a little dazed. Zhao Ping couldn't wait any longer. She said to Qin Yuan, "Big brother Yuan. What happened to my face? Why aren't you saying anything?" "Sigh. I'll just look at it myself." As Zhao Ping said that, she picked up the bronze mirror and looked at her face. After looking at her face, she had the same reaction as Qin Yuan. She couldn't believe that the person in the mirror was her. She was even more beautiful than she had expected. Zhao Ping pinched her own face and muttered, Is this really me? I'm not dreaming, am I? Heavens! She's too beautiful. How can I be so good-looking?" Qin Yuan finally reacted. His face was full of smiles as he smiled at Zhao Ping and said, "Ping, you're so beautiful." This face was completely different from before. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. Zhao Ping was very excited. Yes, let alone others, even I can't believe it. "Big brother Yuan, am I really not dreaming right now?" Qin Yuan shook his head affectionately. "No, Pinger, you're not dreaming. This is you. If you didn't have the birthmark and freckles, you would be so beautiful." Zhao Ping admired her own face as if she was admiring a treasure. She even said, "No. I'm really too beautiful. I'm about to cry from my own beauty. Big brother Yuan. No one will call me an ugly girl in the future." Yes. Qin Yuan nodded in agreement. He knew that Zhao Ping's ugly appearance had always troubled her. Now that Zhao Ping's face could be cured, it wasn't an easy task. As long as no one called Zhao Ping an ugly girl, Zhao Ping's mood would definitely be much better. As long as Zhao Ping was happy, he would be gratified. Chapter 2397. Qin Yuan nodded in agreement. To Zhao Ping, her face was very important. Since it was Ma Xiaofeng's suggestion that allowed Zhao Ping's face to be cured, then Ma Xiaofeng's kindness was naturally part of it. Let's buy some gifts for Ma Xiaofeng later and repay her properly, Qin Yuan suggested. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Sure. Big brother Yuan, we have to buy more things for little Feng. I'm so happy. After living for more than 20 years, I actually didn't know that my face could be cured. If I had known earlier, I would have cured it earlier, and I wouldn't have been called an ugly woman for more than 20 years. Zhao Ping was very emotional. She had thought that she could only be like this for the rest of her life, unable to get rid of this ugly face. Now, a miracle had happened. Qin Yuan smiled dotingly. Ping, you can't say that. Even if we knew that it could be cured, we didn't have so much money. Furthermore, if you were born beautiful from the start, we might not have been together. Since God arranged it this way, she must have her reasons. Perhaps she wanted you to wait for me and marry me. After listening to Qin Yuan's analysis, Zhao Ping felt that it made sense. She smiled at Qin Yuan blissfully. Big brother Yuan, you're right. God must have arranged it this way on purpose. It's great now, I'm not ugly anymore. In the future, when I'm with Big brother Yuan, no one will make fun of you for marrying an ugly woman. Of course, the most important thing was that Zhao Ping felt that she had become beautiful, and she was so delicate and pretty. Qin Yuan would definitely not look for other women. In the future, she and Qin Yuan could live happily together for the rest of their lives. Ping, you're so silly. No matter if you've become beautiful or if you're still the same as before, you're still the best in my heart. I don't care what others say, I just want to be with you. Qin Yuan said very affectionately. Zhao Ping's heart was filled with warmth. Looking at the handsome man in front of her, Zhao Ping leaned forward and kissed Qin Yuan on the cheek. She then smiled sweetly and said, Big brother Yuan, you're so nice. Nice to meet you. Hee, Big brother Yuan, I want to go and tell little Feng about such good news right now, Zhao Ping said with an excited look. She didn't know what Ma Xiaofeng's reaction would be when she saw her changed face. How would the other villagers react when they saw her? Many people probably couldn't believe that she had suddenly turned into a beauty. Go ahead. Qin Yuan said with a smile. Yeah. Zhao Ping rushed out of the house and ran towards Ma Xiaofeng's courtyard. At this time, Ma Xiaofeng was also preparing lunch in the courtyard. There was no need to prepare the food. They were all brought back from the restaurant, and they were all meat dishes. It was just that they were a little cold when they were brought back. She was preparing to heat them up now so that she could call her mother and younger brother to eat later. Zhao Ping saw Ma Xiaofeng's figure from afar and suddenly shouted at Ma Xiaofeng, Little Feng, Little Feng. Ma Xiaofeng heard Zhao Ping's familiar voice. She raised her head and saw a woman rushing into her courtyard. Although her voice and figure were exactly the same as Zhao Ping's, that face couldn't help but appear. Zhao Ping came in front of Ma Xiaofeng and shouted with a smile, Little Feng, why are you in a daze? Why are you ignoring me? Chapter 2398. Ping. Ping, Jia, is that you? Ma Xiaofeng asked in surprise. Yes, Xiaofeng, it's me. Zhao Ping replied with a smile. Ma Xiaofeng's eyes widened. Although she knew that Zhao Ping had gone to get her face treated, she didn't expect that Zhao Ping would look so beautiful after removing the things on her face. Zhao Ping's current face was even more delicate than hers. Ping, Jia. You've become so beautiful that I almost couldn't recognize you. Ma Xiaofeng said. Is that so? In fact, when I first saw it, I also felt that it was too unbelievable. I can still look so beautiful without the birthmark and spots. Ping, Jia, your luck is really good now. You've opened a restaurant and become rich. The Qin Yuan has also cut off all ties with your aunt and only treats you wholeheartedly. Now, you've become so beautiful. Ma Xiaofeng was a little envious of Zhao Ping. If Ma Xiaofeng hadn't mentioned it, Zhao Ping wouldn't have felt it. After Zhao Ping said it, she thought that it was indeed so. She was really lucky. She had obtained everything that she didn't get before. Moreover, it had only been a few months. It seemed that the heavens were looking after her. They felt that she had suffered too much before, and now they were doing this to compensate her. Zhao Ping held Ma Xiaofeng's hand and said gratefully, Xiaofeng, I obtained all of this with your help. Thank you so much. If Ma Xiaofeng hadn't talked about doing business, she probably wouldn't have been able to open a restaurant now. Naturally, she wouldn't have had so much money. At that time, Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui were having sex in the bushes. If it hadn't been for Ma Xiaofeng's idea, Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui wouldn't have had any enmity. She also wouldn't have had a chance to show off. Qin Yuan wouldn't have treated her so sincerely now. As for her face, needless to say, it was Ma Xiaofeng's idea to suggest that she go see a doctor. Otherwise, with her brain, she definitely wouldn't have thought of it. Ma Xiaofeng played a big part in her success today. Ma Xiaofeng smiled. It's okay, Ping, Jia, you don't have to thank me. You're my good friend. I'm also happy for you to see that you've become better and better. Of course, Ma Xiaofeng only said it on the surface, but she was a little jealous in her heart. Why was it that the lives of the people around her were getting better and better? What about her, other than having some money so that she wouldn't go hungry and could take care of her mother and younger brother well, she didn't have anything else. With these material conditions, Ma Xiaofeng realized that what she wanted the most was the care and concern of the person she loved. She was just a girl, supporting a family by herself. Mentally, she was more or less tired. Therefore, she wanted to find a shoulder to lean on. At least, she could lean on it when she was tired. Then, she realized that she had lost the shoulder that she could have leaned on. She wanted to look for it, but unfortunately, she couldn't find it. Ma Xiaofeng took a deep breath and tried hard to suppress her emotions. Zhao Ping was too excited and didn't notice Ma Xiaofeng's strange behavior. Zhao Ping looked at Ma Xiaofeng, touched. Xiao Feng, you're really the best girl I've ever met. Ping, Jia, you're being polite with me again. No. Xiao Feng, I'm just telling the truth. Fortunately, you're here. Everything I have is given to me by you. I'll always remember your kindness. Chapter 2399. Yes, yes. Zhao Ping replied excitedly. Such a good thing should be publicized in the village. In the past, her ugly appearance had been laughed at by the girls in the village. Now that she was out with this face, it was a slap to the faces of those who had laughed at her. With her current appearance, she could definitely crush a large number of girls in the village. At old Zhao's house, the commotion was still ongoing. It was no wonder that the villagers were so concerned about Zhao Tianlong. It was simply too rare for Zhao Tianlong to come in third place in the imperial examinations. Since Shuilan village had produced such a talent, the villagers naturally wanted to join in the fun and understand the situation. At the same time, they wanted to build a good relationship with old Zhao's family. When they went out later, they could even brag about it and gain some face. After Zhao Yun finished preparing the dishes, she began to entertain the officials who had delivered the news. There was no doubt about her culinary skills. This meal was very sumptuous, and everyone was very satisfied. When the officials were about to leave, Zhao Wentao reminded Zhao Baoshan and Zhao Wenshi. Father, second brother, they came all the way to our house to deliver the news. We can't just entertain them with a meal. We have to give them some red packets. Previously, when people from other villages passed the imperial examinations, the officials who delivered the news had to give them 5 taels of silver. This time, Zhao Tianlong came in third place. Old Zhao's family couldn't be too shabby. Not only would it embarrass old Zhao's family, it would also embarrass Zhao Tianlong. Zhao Baoshan nodded, yes, fourth brother is right. We should give them some red packets. Eldest brother, take out whatever money you have. Zhao Wenshi couldn't bear to part with his money, so he said with a bitter face, Father, where do I have any money? Tianhu basically spent all his money when he got married. Also, he split up, so he doesn't have much left. Zhao Wenshi didn't really have any money. He just didn't want to take it out. He knew that even if he didn't pay, it would be the entire old Zhao family's honor for Zhao Tianlong to come in third place. Zhao Baoshan would find a way to raise the money. At that time, how much money did his little sister bring from young Master Meng? She could casually take out more money than he could. Why would she touch his little treasury? After Zhao Baoshan heard this, he frowned and thought for a moment. Just as he was about to ask Hua Chunhua to take out some money, Shen Pan walked over and said to Zhao Wenshi and Zhao Baoshan, Dad, Grandpa, let me take the money. You don't have to make things difficult for me. I don't have any dowry from my maiden family. When Zhao Wenshi heard this, he immediately gave Shen Pan a look, telling her not to take it. Shen Pan was a member of the main branch, so Zhao Wenshi's heart ached when she took out the money. Shen Pan ignored the look in Zhao Wenshi's eyes. She was a little annoyed by the pettiness of the country people. Wasn't it just some money? What was the big deal? Now that Zhao Tianlong came in third place, he was going to be a high-ranking official in the future. How could he worry about not having enough money to spend? Giving more money to the officials who delivered the news was to give Zhao Tianlong some face. She couldn't let others think that Zhao Tianlong's family was too shabby and make a joke out of it. As Zhao Tianlong's wife, Shen Pan took this into consideration and took out the money. Chapter 2400. When Shen Pan reached her room, she took out 10 taels of silver and gave it to the official who delivered the news. 10 taels of silver was quite a lot. After receiving the money, the official who delivered the news happily left. The villagers who came to join in the fun were even more moved by old Zhao's generosity. Pan, when Tianlong comes back, I'll make up for it, Zhao Baoshan said. Shen Pan pulled the corners of her mouth and smiled. It's fine. Tianlong and I are husband and wife. Why would we care so much? When Tianlong becomes an official, what's 10 taels of silver? Shen Pan felt that she wouldn't be like old Zhao and the villagers, who only stared at the little benefits in front of them. Once Tianlong became an official, things would be different with Yiqian around. When the time came, he would be above everyone else. What couldn't he want? And when she became the wife of an official, not only would she be rich, she would also have an enviable status. Zhao Baoshan chuckled and nodded in agreement. That's right. Pan is right. Once Tianlong becomes an official, our entire old Zhao family will follow suit. What's 10 taels of silver? Father, Tianlong is ambitious. He's made us proud. That's right. Those officials just now said that Tianlong will be back in 3 or 4 days. Talking about it makes this old man somewhat impatient, wanting to see him earlier. Zhao Baoshan said somewhat impatiently. When Shen Pan heard this, she also couldn't wait. She had been waiting for these past few months. Every day, she missed Tianlong. However, she knew that it was useless even if she missed him. Tianlong prioritized his studies and wanted to pass the imperial examinations. As his wife, she couldn't hold him back. She could only silently wait for him and support him from behind. Waiting for the day when he passed the imperial examinations. Tianlong didn't disappoint her. Not only did he pass the imperial examinations, he even came in third place. This made Shen Pan feel that all her previous efforts were worth it. After enduring for a few months, the remaining 3 or 4 days felt unusually long to Shen Pan. She couldn't wait to see Tianlong return. She had to go to the town to tell her parents about such good news so that they could be happy too. After all, when she had chosen to be with Zhao Tianlong, her parents had been worried. They felt that old Zhao's family was too poor and were afraid that she would suffer after marrying him. As for whether or not Zhao Tianlong would be able to pass, everything was still unknown. If she didn't pass the exam, she could only stay in Shui Lan village for the rest of her life and live a poor life. Now that Zhao Tianlong had come in third place, it meant that her decision back then was not wrong. Her parents had made the right bet. Although the Shen family's conditions were indeed quite good, it was somewhat difficult to become the wife of an official. She could only marry Zhao Tianlong early and wait for Zhao Tianlong to pass the exam. Then, she would naturally become the wife of the top scholar. Father, grandfather, I want to go back to my parents' home this afternoon to tell them the good news, Shen Pan said. Zhao Baoshan smiled and said, Pan, go ahead. We should inform our in-laws about this joyous occasion and let them be happy too. Yeah. Shen Pan nodded heavily. Her face was full of joy. Then, she turned around and went into the house to prepare the things she needed to prepare. After everything was done, Zhao Yun and her family prepared to go back to rest. From afar, they could see many girls in their teens and 20s in the courtyard of the third branch. Some of them were young married women. Chapter 2401. Zhao Yun was a little confused. Usually, there wouldn't be so many girls gathered in front of their house. Could it be that something happened at home? But she wasn't at home. Could it be that these girls were called over by Zhao Ping? With this doubt, Zhao Yun continued to walk forward. When she reached the courtyard, she finally understood what was going on. It turned out that these people were really called over by Zhao Ping. The reason why they were called over was because of her face. After washing the things on her face, Zhao Ping's face had completely changed. At this time, in the eyes of others, Zhao Ping's appearance was not only not ugly, but also delicate and pretty. Therefore, the girls in the village felt that it was strange, so they gathered at her house and asked her non-stop. They were curious about how Zhao Ping became beautiful. Women were more fond of it, and they all hoped to find Zhao Ping's secret method to see if they could become beautiful like Zhao Ping. Seeing Zhao Ping's changed appearance, Zhao Yun also felt strange. She thought that this woman would only be like this for the rest of her life. She didn't expect that her luck was so good that she could become beautiful under such circumstances. Zhao Ping stood among these women, feeling a little proud. In the past, she felt a little inferior because of her face. Now, Zhao Ping's face was full of confidence. She raised her head and wished that everyone could see her face clearly. Zhao Yun understood Zhao Ping's heart. After being ugly for so long, she suddenly became beautiful. Naturally, she wanted to announce it to the world. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were a little relieved. No matter what, Zhao Ping was their biological daughter. As parents, they also had a big responsibility to give birth to Zhao Ping, so ugly. Before this, Zhao Ping had complained a lot about them giving birth to her ugly appearance. Now that Zhao Ping could become beautiful, at least she wouldn't blame them in the future. Over the next few days, Zhao Ping went out to show off her beautiful face. Zhao Yun didn't really care about this kind of behavior that didn't affect her. The days passed quickly. Zhao Ping found a suitable house in Yang City and moved in with the people of Qinyuan. Many people envied Zhao Ping for becoming a city dweller in the future and not having to stay in the countryside like other people. As for old Zhao's family, Zhao Tianlong came in third place and returned to old Zhao's house a few days later. Because they were the third in the exam, the top three were all valued by the emperor. When Zhao Tianlong returned to his hometown, he even sent a group of people to escort it back. Zhao Yun was dressed in a red wedding attire with a hat on his head. His attire was similar to that of the top scholar that Zhao Yun had seen on television. He was riding on horseback, and behind him were many people playing gongs and drums. Along the way, he was very eye-catching. As soon as he entered the village, the entire Shui Lan village came out to join in the fun. They wanted to see how the top scholar looked after coming back from the capital. After seeing him, everyone was envious. Sure enough, clothes made the man, and gold made the Buddha. Zhao Tianlong, who was dressed in a red wedding attire, was a little different. Because he came in third place, his face was full of joy and he was in high spirits. Everyone, come and take a look. The top scholar is back. Yes. Everyone, come and take a look. How impressive. So many people were sent back to the village. The top scholar is indeed different. Isn't that obvious? The top three scholars are all valued by the imperial court. They will be high-ranking officials in the future. Fanlai is naturally different from the other top scholars. He is very impressive. Chapter 2402. Aya, this kind of fortune isn't something that just anyone can have. Old Zhao's family had the blessing of the ancestors, allowing Zhao Tianlong to get third place this year. If he didn't have the blessing of the ancestors, it would be difficult for him to get such a good result. You're right. How many good things have happened to old Zhao's family this year? Normal people wouldn't be able to get it. Not to mention anything else, just the third branch's second daughter, directly marrying the heir and becoming our great Zhou's heir's wife. This is an honor that normal people wouldn't be able to get. AI, there's no point in being envious. We don't have the blessing of the ancestors, so this kind of good thing naturally wouldn't fall on our heads. So, let's not think about it. Right, let's not think about it. When the villagers saw Zhao Tianlong, they all gathered together and began discussing. They were all filled with envy towards old Zhao's family. When old Zhao's family heard that Zhao Tianlong had returned, they all rushed out of their houses and waited in the yard, waiting for Zhao Tianlong. Shen Pan had carefully dressed herself these past few days, just in case Zhao Wenlong suddenly came back. She wanted Zhao Tianlong to see her beautiful appearance, not like the other village women who were sloppy and didn't dress up. It was fine before, but now that Zhao Tianlong had gotten third place, it was different. In the future, he would become a high-ranking official, so she had to maintain her beautiful appearance in order to capture Zhao Tianlong's heart. Otherwise, once a man became rich, who knew if he would be unfaithful and look for younger and more beautiful women? She only wanted Zhao Tianlong to have her and not Zhao Tianlong to have concubines in the future. Shen Pan had a new set of clothes made. It was peach pink, making her skin look white. Adding in some light makeup, she looked even more charming. Shen Pan was quite satisfied with her appearance. After waiting for around a few minutes, Zhao Tianlong's group arrived in front of old Zhao's house. Seeing Zhao Tianlong on the horse, that handsome appearance made Shen Pan's heart beat faster. Although this person was her husband, Shen Pan still revealed a trace of shyness and her face turned red. However, her eyes looking at Zhao Tianlong were still filled with hope. She had waited for so long, and finally, this man had returned. He was in high spirits, which added to his handsomeness. The members of old Zhao's family were similarly overjoyed. Feng Zhangxia could no longer contain her excitement and rushed towards Zhao Tianlong, shouting, "Tianlong, you're finally back. Sky Dragon is back." Zhao Wenshi happily stepped forward and said with a smile, "I've been waiting for the heavens and the earth, but I've finally brought Sky Dragon back. My eldest grandson's aura is indeed extraordinary. One look and I can tell that he's not an ordinary person." Hua Chunhua was grinning from ear to ear, unconsciously praising Zhao Tianlong. When Zhao Tianlong saw his family and heard the envious and praises of the people around him, he felt that he had finally made a name for himself. He raised his chin. This was the first time he had raised his head like this, and it felt great to be a human. Previously, because he was from the countryside and his family wasn't very well off, it was inevitable that he would be teased by his classmates. Most of his classmates were young masters from wealthy families. Only a small number of poor families would send their children to school. Ever since he came in third place in high school, he no longer had to worry about others gossiping about him. He could hold his head high and live an extraordinary life. Zhao Tianlong got off the horse and walked towards old Zhao's family. Chapter 2403. Zhao Tianlong greeted them politely and greeted old Zhao's family members. Zhao Baoshan greeted Zhao Tianlong with a smile. "You must be tired after such a long journey. Come in and have a rest." "Okay." Zhao Tianlong nodded. He was indeed tired after such a long journey. Since returning from the capital, he wanted to report the good news to my family without stopping. Although he knew that old Zhao's family had already received the news, he still wanted to tell them personally. Seeing old Zhao's family members looking at him with pride, Zhao Tianlong was very happy. As a member of old Zhao's family, what he wanted the most was to stand out and make his parents proud of him. For so many years, old Zhao's family had spent a lot of effort on him in order to support his studies. Fortunately, he was third in the examination. As a reward, he did not disappoint old Zhao's family. Because of Zhao Tianlong's return, Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua asked their family members to prepare lunch to treat Zhao Tianlong. Feng Zhangxia looked at her precious son and said with a distressed expression, "Alas, Tianlong is already thin enough. I guess he's been concentrating on studying and not eating these days. It looks like he's lost a lot of weight." As his mother, she felt a little heartache. Hua Chunhua chuckled, "That means that our Tianlong is really focused on his studies. How can he not lose weight when he is so focused on his studies?" However, being third in the examination shows that it is worth it to lose weight. Since he is back home, he will be fine once his body is nourished. Feng Zhangxia nodded, "That's true. We can prepare more delicious food for Tianlong to nourish himself. I estimate that he will be able to recover after half a month or a month." Hua Chunhua said generously, "Eldest daughter-in-law, I still have more than 10 chickens. Go back and catch a few old hens to make chicken soup for Tianlong's child." Feng Zhangxia answered happily, "Okay, I'll go and stew it tomorrow. Mother, you are really good to Tianlong. He is my precious eldest grandson. If I don't treat him well, who else can I treat well?" Mother, I'll talk to Sky Dragon later. I have to let him remember your kindness and be filial to you in the future." Feng Zhangxia just said a few flattering words, but Hua Chunhua was very happy to hear it. Once Zhao Tianlong became a high-ranking official, he would probably be able to send her a lot of good things if he showed a little filial piety. It seemed like she wouldn't have to worry about the rest of her life. Old Zhao's family was quite lucky this year, which was why they had so many happy events. In the afternoon, the whole family gathered together for a lively meal. The third branch was also invited to join them. They gathered together to eat and celebrate Zhao Tianlong's third place in the high school examination. Zhao Tianlong's words were somewhat smug, which made Zhao Yun a little displeased. However, being able to come in third place was indeed something to be happy about and proud of. It was normal for people to be a little arrogant. After all, they were indeed capable. In the afternoon, the few branches of old Zhao's family gathered together to chat. They only dispersed after dinner. Shen Pan looked forward to it for a long time until nighttime. This was because Zhao Tianlong could only say a few intimate words to her after they returned to their room. During the day, there were so many people in old Zhao's house. Moreover, they were all talking to Zhao Tianlong non-stop. It was difficult for her to even say a few words to Zhao Tianlong. Chapter 2404. As she had not seen Zhao Tianlong for a long time, Shen Pan still had a shy look on her face when they were alone. She softly called out to Zhao Tianlong. "Husband." Zhao Tianlong looked at the delicate woman in front of him with a doting smile on his face. He held Shen Pan's hand and asked with a smile, "Husband has been gone for so long. Did you miss me?" Shen Pan shyly lowered her head and her voice was as soft as a mosquito's. "Of course I missed you. Was there a need to ask?" She missed him every day and wished she could see him every day. However, knowing that Zhao Tianlong prioritized his studies, Shen Pan was willing to let Zhao Tianlong make a name for himself in the future even if she missed him more. "I missed you too." Zhao Tianlong smiled and asked about Shen Pan's recent situation. "Pan, did you suffer at home these days?" Shen Pan shook her head. "No, I'm fine." Zhao Tianlong nodded his head in relief. "That's good. I was worried about you and Yang Yang every day in the capital. I don't know how you two are doing in the village. It's a good thing that you're finally back." "Yes." Shen Pan replied, "We don't have to be separated anymore, We won't be separated anymore." Zhao Tianlong walked closer to Shen Pan and wrapped his arms around her waist. Shen Pan let out a low cry and fell into Zhao Tianlong's embrace. Her cheeks blushed for a moment, but she could not wait for Zhao Tianlong's next move. Only the heavens knew how thirsty she was after staying at home for a few months without Zhao Tianlong by her side. Sometimes, she could only solve it herself. However, doing it herself was not as satisfying as doing it with a man. Now that Zhao Tianlong was finally back, he could help her solve her physiological needs. Zhao Tianlong hugged Shen Pan's waist and held the back of her head. He then kissed her deeply on the lips. He was about to suffocate to death. Even though he had been studying for the past few days, sometimes he could use books to divert his attention. However, as a man, his needs in this area were still very important. It was fine if he had never tasted a woman before. After tasting one, his heart would itch whenever he thought about it. After kissing for a few minutes, Zhao Tianlong picked Shen Pan'er up and threw her onto the bed. Then, he hurriedly took off his and Shen Pan'er's clothes. He couldn't wait to enter Shen Pan'er's body and have sex with her. The two of them tossed and turned on the bed for a while, venting all the things that they wanted to vent during this period of time. In the end, both of them lay on the ground, exhausted. Shen Pan leaned into Zhao Tianlong's embrace as her cheeks flushed red. On the other hand, Zhao Tianlong's face was filled with satisfaction. This feeling of release was refreshing. After hesitating for a moment, Zhao Tianlong said to Shen Pan'er, I actually have something to discuss with you, husband. If you have something to say, just say it. You're a man and my backbone. There are some things that you don't need to discuss with me. You can make your own decisions. Shen Pan said gently. Zhao Tianlong hugged Shen Pan'er tightly. I know that you've done a lot for me over the years and suffered a lot. With your qualifications, you could have found a better family to marry. However, you were determined to be with me back then. Shen Pan'er smiled. Husband, it's because I like you. As long as I'm with you, it's fine. There's no need for all this. Chapter 2405. Zhao Tianlong gently smiled. I've seen everything you've done for me. Now that I'm third place in high school, I'll bring you and Yang to live a good life. Yes, yes. Shen Pan nodded her head with a face full of happiness. After enduring for so many years, she had finally made it. From the moment Zhao Tianlong entered high school, it was clear that she was going to live a good life. Fortunately, all the waiting and suffering was worth it. Now that I'm third place in high school, I didn't rely on my own abilities. Zhao Tianlong hesitated for a moment before speaking in a deep voice. Shen Pan was stunned as she didn't understand the meaning behind Zhao Tianlong's words. Husband. How can you say that? You're already brimming with talent, how could you not rely on yourself to be third place? Could it be that the examiners randomly gave you the results? Zhao Tianlong sighed and slowly opened his mouth. Many things aren't as simple as we think. There are still a lot of dark secrets. Even if it's a science exam, it's still something that can be manipulated by the nobles in the capital. For students from poor families like us, it's not easy to even become a high scholar, let alone the top 3. Shen Pan'er frowned as she didn't know about this. However, since Zhao Tianlong said this, how did he get into the top 3? This time, I was able to get third place in high school because of Prince Jin's help. Shen Pan was even more confused as she didn't know that Zhao Tianlong was hiding so many secrets behind his high school results. But husband, how did you get to know Prince Jin? He wouldn't help you for no reason, right? What's going on here? This is also the reason why I wanted to discuss something with you today. Zhao Tianlong was at a loss as he spoke. Shen Pan hurriedly urged, Husband, hurry up and say it, don't stutter. Zhao Tianlong held Shen Pan'er's hand. If I say it, I might be a little sorry, but for our future, I hope you can understand me. Shen Pan was a little nervous as Zhao Tianlong's tone didn't sound like it was anything good. Husband, tell me, Prince Jin really wouldn't help you for no reason. It's because Prince Jin's daughter, Princess Miao Yin, has fallen in love with me. That's why Prince Jin helped me get into the top 3 during the imperial exam. Otherwise, it might have been difficult for me to pass the exam. After getting into the top 3 this time, although he could become an official in the future, the waters in the officialdom were very deep. Without power and background, it was impossible to go up there. With my family background, I can only be a deputy county magistrate at most. It's not easy to become a high-ranking official. But with the help of Prince Jin, in the future, I will be like a fish in water in the officialdom, and be able to become a big official in the capital. After listening for a while, Shenpaner finally understood what was going on. She had initially thought that Zhao Tianlong had relied on his own abilities to become the 3rd in the examination. She had never expected that it was with the help of others. From Zhao Tianlong's words, the reason why Prince Jin appreciated him so much was because of that Princess Miao Yin. Husband, what do you plan to do? Although she knew what Zhao Tianlong was planning to do, Shenpan still asked unwillingly. Chapter 2406. Because Princess Miao Yin is in love with me, as long as I marry Princess Miao Yin, Prince Jin will be able to help me climb to a higher position in the bureaucracy. In fact, Princess Miao Yin marrying me is considered marrying a lower status. With her status, she can find a better family. As for me, I'm just a poor country boy. If it wasn't for Prince Jin's help, would be nothing right now. As Zhao Tianlong spoke, he felt that he had wronged Princess Miao Yin. He didn't think about how cold Shenpan's heart would be after he said those words. Shenpan found it difficult to breathe. She tried her best to calm herself down. With a trembling voice, she asked Zhao Tianlong, "But husband, you already have me. You already married me. Don't tell me you still want to marry Princess Miao Yin? She's the one who married and later, do you want to be a concubine?" Zhao Tianlong pulled the corner of his mouth and replied to Shenpan, this is exactly what I wanted to discuss with you. In fact, it's normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. In the future, when I become a high official, I will definitely take in concubines. With Princess Miao Yin's status, it's impossible for her to be a concubine. Husband, what do you mean? If she can't be a concubine, what can she be? I'm already your wife? Shenpan continued to ask. Her heart ached. She never thought that one day, Zhao Tianlong would talk to her. What normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines? Zhao Tianlong didn't say that when he married her. Instead, he told her that he would only be good to her for the rest of his life. She just got 3rd place and everything changed. He even threw away his previous vows, as if he had selective amnesia. At this time, she couldn't make a fuss with Zhao Tianlong. The more she made a fuss, the more Zhao Tianlong would dislike her. At that time, Zhao Tianlong wouldn't be able to bear it and would directly abandon her. Shenpan finally waited for the day when Zhao Tianlong stood out. How could she do such a stupid thing at this time? I know, what I mean is that Princess Miao Yin will marry over. She will be the wife and you will be the concubine. Actually, this was just a title, and there was no need to care about it. Although you're my concubine, it's only in name. I'll still treat you as my first wife and treat you and Yang well. Zhao Tianlong held Shenpan's hand and put on an affectionate expression. Shenpaner felt like she was about to vomit. When did her beloved husband become such a person? Did he take her for a fool? He wanted her to be a concubine and then said that he would treat her and her child well. Probably only a stupid woman would believe that. Once she became a concubine in name, she would be a lowly concubine that couldn't be seen in public. Even Yang was a bastard and would be looked down upon in the future. She had sacrificed so much for him over the years and had waited so long for this day to come. However, Zhao Tianlong had treated her in such a manner, which made her feel bitterly disappointed. Zhao Tianlong, for the sake of his future, chose to abandon her without any hesitation. Shen Pan's tears flowed uncontrollably from the corners of her eyes. When Zhao Tianlong saw this, he hurriedly wiped away the tears at the corner of Shen Pan's eyes and comforted her gently. What's wrong? Don't cry. Her husband's heart would ache. Chapter 2407. When Shen Pan heard this, she asked, "Husband, is there really no other way other than marrying Princess Miao Yin? If you're willing to see me continue to stay in this desolate place without any hopes of becoming outstanding, then you don't have to marry her. But if you want to live a prosperous life and let Yang enjoy everything, then you have to marry her. There's no other way. For Princess Miao Yin to take a fancy to a poor boy like me is my great fortune. If it was an ordinary person, how could they have met her? Furthermore, I've told Princess Miao Yin about you and Daodu's existence. She's more willing to accept you. Pan, do you know how difficult this is?" Zhao Tianlong's tone was deep. Shen Pan frowned and fell silent. She was also struggling in her heart. On one hand, she wasn't willing to let her man be snatched away by another woman. On the other hand, she didn't want to see everything return to the starting point when she was about to get what she wanted. She had enough of the bitter life in the countryside and didn't want to continue enduring it. Zhao Tianlong held Shen Pan's hand even tighter. As if he was making a promise to her, he said, "Pan, I know I've wronged you, but I'll make it up to you and Yang in the future. I won't let the two of you suffer any grievances. If you can become an official in the capital, you'll be able to enjoy everything. You've suffered so much with me. Don't you want to enjoy it? Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for Yang. From now on, he'll be the son of a high official and not an ordinary country boy. When he grows up, he'll be able to study and become an official. He won't have to study as hard as me to pass the imperial examinations. It's all too difficult. I just want the two of you to live well." Hearing Zhao Tianlong's words, Shen Pan was somewhat moved. Zhao Tianlong was right. Even if she didn't think for herself, she had to think for Yang. Who would be willing to stay in a desolate place like the countryside? Even if he was a bastard, the bastard son of a high official was still much better than the average person. He would be able to enjoy even more. After some consideration, Shen Pan didn't dare to make a fuss with Zhao Tianlong even though she was very sad. Instead, she chose to agree. Actually, what could she do if she didn't agree? It would only make the final result worse. Judging from Zhao Tianlong's current attitude, Zhao Tianlong would not be willing to give up such a good opportunity. Which man didn't want to be outstanding and have a meteoric rise? If she persisted, she was afraid that Zhao Tianlong would simply divorce her. At that time, she would be nothing, let alone a concubine. If she was chased back to her maiden home, she would only be laughed at. If she agreed now, it would not cause Zhao Tianlong to kick up a fuss. Instead, it would make Zhao Tianlong feel guilty towards her, and he would not treat them too badly in the future. As for men, how many of them didn't like virtuous and sensible women? Shen Pan leaned against Zhao Tianlong's chest and said softly, "Husband, I'm willing to do anything for you. Even if I become your concubine in the future, I will not complain. As long as you can become a high-ranking official in the future, it's fine as long as you have a promising future. You are my man and my sky. I will support you in everything you do and stand by your side." On the surface, Shen Pan and Zhao Tianlong were saying such affectionate words. However, her heart had already been severely hurt by Zhao Tianlong and she would never trust this man again. Chapter 2408. Zhao Tianlong was touched by Shen Pan's words. He hugged Shen Pan tightly and said, "Pan, you're the best. In my heart, you'll be a good wife for life. As long as I'm here, I guarantee that you'll enjoy the best in the future and become the happiest woman." Shen Pan pursed her lips and agreed with a smile. However, she did not believe Zhao Tianlong's words. Men were all pigs. They only made a few promises and forgot about them in the blink of an eye. Zhao Tianlong had said these words countless times before. Now, he was still going to marry another woman for his own future and forget about his vows. She had to start planning properly now. She had to grab hold of what she should get and what she should fight for. The two of them lay on the bed and slowly fell asleep. The next day, old Zhao's house was as lively as usual. The news of Zhao Tianlong coming in third place had spread throughout Yang City. After Zhao Tianlong returned, the nearby villages and influential people all came to congratulate old Zhao's house. Because he came in third place in the exam, and because of the capital, he was going to be a high-ranking official in the future. These people naturally came to curry favor with him. The more connections one made, the easier it would be to do things in the future. Especially the powerful squires, they had made friends with a lot of influential people. Even the district magistrate personally came to old Zhao's house to congratulate old Zhao. For a time, old Zhao's house was very popular. Because these people came with gifts, the first branch received so many gifts that their hands went limp. Old Zhao's house also warmly welcomed these people who came to congratulate them. After a few days of excitement, almost all the influential people in Yang City came. The gifts they received filled the entire house. After counting them, these things were estimated to be worth a lot of money. Therefore, the first branch, Hua Chunhua, and Zhao Baoshan's faces were filled with smiles for the next few days. This was only the beginning. When Zhao Tianlong became a high-ranking official, there would be even more. Under Zhao Baoshan's arrangement, a banquet was prepared for Zhao Tianlong. There was no need for the villagers to send money over. They directly held a banquet and invited the villagers to eat to their heart's content. Obviously, this was old Zhao's family's generosity. Actually, it wouldn't cost much to prepare a banquet, buy some ingredients, and hire a chef. Any one of those gifts would be enough to pay for a banquet. Although old Zhao's family was usually stingy, they weren't stingy when it came to important matters. These days, Zhao Tianhu and the rest of old Zhao's family were in a different mood. In the beginning, Zhao Tianhu was also very happy when Zhao Tianlong came in third place. However, his mood slowly turned gloomy. After Jianghu noticed Zhao Tianhu's strange behavior, she asked with concern, "Husband, what's wrong with you? Why do you look so gloomy these days? Everyone's so happy, but you're pulling a long face. Husband, are you feeling unwell somewhere?" Zhao Tianhu shook his head. "No, then what's wrong? Husband, what's wrong with you? Tell me." Jianghu went forward and held Zhao Tianhu's hand. Zhao Tianhu looked up at Jianghu and sighed. Actually, it's nothing. I just feel that I'm so useless." You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.